always taking a risk when you're out in public. And so I'm still doing public events. I'm still meeting with people. I don't ever want my constituents to feel like I think they are a threat to me.
Malloy says it's important to stay smart and aware of your surroundings, but this is not the time to stop participating in politics. Safety for elected officials is taking center stage in the aftermath of that shooting death. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
Some people are deciding not to run for re-election. Others who had thoughts of running for office are now deciding not to. Current Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner tells Inside Sources the commissioner before her, Tanner Ainge, received threats.
When he was the county commissioner, he himself received threats. We had to put sheriff's deputies on his house.
Gardner says she had to move once already after someone showed up at her house, and the county sheriff issued a letter stating she is an at-risk employee. She says she believes anyone who runs or is elected to public office should have their addresses restricted so people can't threaten them at home. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
A high school student who was on the campus during the shooting of Charlie Kirk says memorial service this weekend has helped him heal and move forward. Ryder Warner was at UVU to take a test for a concurrent high school college program. Warner tells KSL TV the services have helped him focus on healing.
And have definitely brought peace to my understanding about it, that have helped me overcome the situation too.
Ryder's father has also been impacted, knowing his son was present during that traumatic moment. Both Warners say the memorial was well done, and they hope that it can help the nation move forward and bring hope. Man accused of killing Charlie Kirk remains in the Utah County Jail. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson is facing multiple charges, including aggravated murder. He's scheduled to make his next court appearance just over a week from now on September 29th. KSL's top national stories. President Trump is publicly applying pressure on Attorney General Pam Bondi to go after his political opponents. He's now tapped a close advisor to be the top federal prosecutor in a key district that regularly handles national security cases.
The president announced late Saturday he'd be nominating White House aide Lindsey Halligan to serve as U.S. Attorney for the Eastern Virginia district that extends from Norfolk to the D.C. suburbs. Trump's former pick was forced out last week. The president says it was because Eric Siebert had been endorsed by Virginia's Democratic senators. But ABC News has learned Siebert determined he couldn't bring a mortgage fraud case against New York State's Attorney General Letitia James. Lindsey Halligan, who represented Trump through the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, has no known experience as a prosecutor.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy reporting. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. Attorneys for the man accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson are asking a judge to dismiss federal charges that could result in the death penalty. Attorneys say comments by Attorney General Pam Bondi, along with what they call the unconstitutional way that Luigi Mangione has been detained, add up to a lesser sentence. ABC's Aaron Katursky has more.
Federal prosecutors have not responded, but they've previously said Mangione deserves a death sentence because he tried to normalize the use of violence to make a point. Mangione convinced a state judge last week to throw out terrorism charges, though that same judge noted there's evidence Mangione murdered Thompson in a premeditated and calculated execution.
Mangione is expected to be back in court in December. Breaking news, the Granite School District says Olympus High School has been evacuated out of an abundance of caution. They say law enforcement is investigating a non-credible safety threat, but they are evacuating just to be safe. They say, to be clear, everyone is safe and accounted for, and this evacuation is precautionary to ensure student safety. Now, parents should not come to the school or the evacuation site at this time. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. A lot of rain has come through parts of Davis County, Weber County as well, soaking the roads. And we have an accident northbound I-15 right about 4th North Bountiful, moved to the shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:06.
There's no better place to fall in love with fall than Logan, Utah. Honestly, it's kind of hard to imagine fall right now because it's been so blasted hot this summer. But I promise Logan is the place for cooler temperatures and even cooler events. You absolutely have to come to the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival September 27th. These ain't your mama's pumpkins, although I don't really know what that means. But anyway, last year, the record-breaking gourd tipped in at over 2,100 pounds. That's more than 3 grand pianos. Professional pumpkin carvers, family scavenger hunt, activities for kids, live music, more than 100 vendors, and fantastic fall fun. Coming up, we've got the American West Heritage Center's Fall Harvest Festival, the North Logan Pumpkin Walk, 2 giant corn mazes that may or may not be haunted, concerts, historic downtown ghost tours, and more. Don't even ask me when the leaves will be turning, because at this point, your guess is as good as mine. But it doesn't matter, because whenever you come to Logan, it's always beautiful. Visit explorelogan.com to plan your autumn adventures today. explorelogan.com.
When you need a new water heater, you need it right now.
Yep, can't wait on that.
When you need a new furnace or a new air conditioner come the summertime, you need it right now. So Superior Water and Air has a wonderful program where they can help you with financing. If you need it, get it today and pay it off when you get your tax refund or just over time.
And that's one of the great things is they have multiple financing options. It's not just one, okay, you've got to do it this way. It's, you can wait till just after your tax refund. Well, what if you need no payments until later in the year?
Yeah.
They can work with you like that because, look, they want to help you get you back on your feet with the thing that doesn't work that you got to use.
Yeah.
And they'll just work with your situation. What a great way to do it.
I loved introducing you to my friends at Superior because they're just great people. And when you invite somebody into your home, you want to feel good about them.
Yeah, and they're so customer-centric. That was what really impressed me was they wanted to work with me and my family, whatever needs we might have.
Right. They want your home to be safe and clean. Superior Water and Air. Here's the number, 801-872-8483, or go to superiorwaterandair.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story, Utah Valley University is launching an independent review of their safety practices using an outside company to see what they can do better since the murder of Charlie Kirk happened on their campus. KSL News Time 12:08. Utah has confirmed its 34th case of measles. The latest is in Cache County. The Bear River Health Department says a patient was not vaccinated, and the health department is working to contact anyone who may have been exposed. A new survey of medical marijuana patients in Utah shows the high cost of obtaining the drug legally may be driving patients to less regulated options.
The study involved conversations with some 200 patients who have medical cannabis cards in Utah, and one of the most significant barriers for those patients to use legal cannabis through state-approved pharmacies was cost. Researchers at the University of Utah found illicit cannabis to be more likely to have varying or unpredictable amounts of CBD and THC, but also to be potentially contaminated with mold or pesticides, or to have more ingredients in them than are on the label. The authors suggest finding ways to reduce the costs so people prescribed marijuana are more likely to pursue safer options. Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
A Clearfield family has lost their home and one of their dogs because of a house fire over the weekend. North Davis Fire District says the fire started early Sunday morning. No one in the house was injured, but only one of the 2 dogs was able to get out. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Ogden is getting some more affordable housing, and builders say that this is just a start. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
A new building named 25th in Quincy features apartments with 1 or 2 bedrooms, and it's only open for people who make 60% or below of the area median income. There are 176 units available, and the building is close to a bus rapid transit line and just a mile from Ogden's downtown. Building Salt Lake reports there are several other buildings planned just down the street from the Quincy building that will add another 350 apartments.
The project will also have space for offices and stores. Traffic and weather is brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
The rain is now in Salt Lake County. We are seeing it slow speeds just a bit on I-15, especially on the northbound side in South Salt Lake by 33rd South. But it's Davis and Weber counties where it came through and just dumped on the road. And I-15 is still drying out. We have an accident on the northbound side of I-15 in the Bountiful area, right about 4th North. They are going to be taking up a right lane of travel. And for those who are in the area, the backups have cleared out. But this rain coming through, it's heavy at times. So just be aware, slow your speeds for current driving conditions, and lights and wipers on. Utah Opera presents The Shining, based on Stephen King's thrilling novel. Jack Torrance's descent into madness comes to life on stage October 11th through 19th. Tickets start at $26 at utahopera.org/redrum. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for partly cloudy skies this afternoon, high of 73. 52 overnight, mostly clear to partly cloudy. 74, mostly sunny tomorrow afternoon. And then we're up to 80 degrees on Wednesday, a perfect midweek day with plenty of sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It's mostly cloudy, blustery in downtown Salt Lake City, 61 degrees. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos. Fall will officially be here in about 5 minutes. We'll count it down and talk about everything autumn with KSL meteorologist Kevin Eubank. That's next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. Sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep. But first, take time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. With offices from Clearfield to St. George, Sound Sleep will help. Call Sound Sleep at 801-716-8672 today.
At Peach Windows and Doors, they help homeowners stay in the homes they love while upgrading to the elegance, efficiency, and natural light of today. With hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, their clients know Peach Windows and Doors deliver what they promise.
I wanted to replace standard-size French doors with a large custom sliding door. The update required checking a weight-bearing wall. Plus, I wanted a couple of different styles of windows. The new sliding door created a much brighter and open look. Peach was so helpful along the way with recommendations and ideas, and the installers were efficient and respectful of my space. I was thrilled with Peach Windows and Doors.
Give your $1 million home the $1 million feel it deserves. Don't wait on that someday project. Visit Peach Windows and Doors Salt Lake Showroom. Schedule a free in-home visit. You can also explore at peachwindowsanddoors.com or just call them at 801-566-1255. Peach Windows and Doors, where amazing home transformations begin.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
a Utah County Commissioner wants the legislature to pass a law restricting the addresses of elected officials from being made public. The request comes after several government workers received threats. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly.
Second, Olympus High School is evacuated right now out of an abundance of caution. The Granite School District says it's because of a non-credible threat, but they're doing it just in case while law enforcement investigates. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Right lane blocked with an accident northbound I-15 at about 4th North Bountiful. With this crash, it's out of traffic, no delay, but a lot of wet roads in the area in Davis and Salt Lake counties. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry skies by afternoon, highs in the low 70s, but I got 80s later this week. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's 60 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen.
President Trump's choice, Lindsay Halligan, to replace the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern Virginia District, was sworn in today at the Justice Department as the interim top prosecutor for the area covering Norfolk to the D.C. suburb courts, according to sources familiar with the situation. It follows the president's call to oust the former AG and recent post on social media calling on Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate his political enemies. ABC's Rachel Scott has more.
President Trump just days ago forced out a top federal prosecutor whose office did not find any evidence to back up allegations that New York Attorney General Letitia James committed mortgage fraud after months of investigating. President Trump now nominating Lindsay Halligan, an attorney from his personal legal team who mostly handled insurance claims, to fill that role. She has never served as a prosecutor.
At today's White House briefing, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responding to the investigation being dropped into border czar Tom Homan, who was accused of accepting a bribe, saying he did nothing wrong. Federal authorities no longer looking into those allegations. ABC's Catherine Falders has more.
We know that Tom Homan, according to our sources, allegedly accepted this $50,000 in cash. This happened before Trump took office, and it stemmed from a counterintelligence probe that was unrelated to Tom Homan. But the reality here was the Trump Department of Justice came in, reviewed the case, and shut it down.
After Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. vowed that he would find the root cause to autism by September, the Trump administration today expected to release its findings, suggesting a possible link between the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy and autism. Researchers and medical experts are disputing the possible link, saying it stems from limited studies. Volatile storms on the march across the nation's midsection after damaging winds and heavy rain left a trail of destruction near Dallas overnight. You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the KSL In Depth. We are counting down the moments to fall right now.
Hallelujah.
All right, the fall equinox is today at 12:19. Joining me now to tell us what that means is KSL meteorologist Kevin Eubank. Kevin, thanks for being with us. And what is the fall equinox?
You know, the fall equinox is officially when you start fall here in the northern hemisphere, and it's supposed to be when the day and night are of equal length. Because of our mountains and topography, that doesn't always work because it's based off of horizon to horizon. But it's when we start actually now losing all of that daylight as we head towards winter, and the shortest day, summer's the longest day of the year. And so the fall equinox is in that middle spot. It also aligns with the spring equinox that happens generally in March. So here it is, official at 12:19, which is right now, and that's why we're on the phone with you today. But meteorologically, just so you know, we keep track of it. Fall is September, October, and November. So again, according to planetary alignment, it's the equinox. Meteorologically, for climate records and keeping track, we've already been in fall here for a couple of weeks.
Okay, so we've had some pretty interesting storms overnight. Yesterday, it came down pretty hard. Is that a sign of things to come?
You know what? It's not. These are kind of these little one-off thunderstorms, and some of them, one just went by my home here in Bountiful, and just a deluge of rain and hail and lightning and thunder, and it's been very active. We'll actually start to see a drying happen here over the next couple of days, and we're going to enjoy some beautiful fall weather. Temperatures in the 70s for highs on average, lows in the 50s. So some would say this is one of the very best times of the year in Salt Lake City. Sunrise today is 7:16. Sunset tonight is 7:24. So that's about as close as we get to that equinox in the sense of equal day, equal night. But it's a beautiful time of the year for sure. Fall in Utah is one of the best.
Okay, so is this going to be a longer fall? I think the last couple of falls have actually lasted quite a bit longer than usually. It's when I complain that, hey, this is just a lead into winter and it's really short. But last couple of falls, I couldn't say that about that.
You know what? You're right. And I think this year is going to be the same. What I've seen over the last couple of years is almost a little bit of a climate shift that happens, that our winters start a little bit later and our summers tend to bleed into fall a little longer. And so I think the months of September, October, even a little bit into early November are going to be really, really nice. So enjoy it. We need water, so I'd love to see some early storms. But in general, I think it'll be a warmer than normal fall, and it ought to be pretty pleasant.
Yeah, just looking up to the mountains of the east, I'm seeing a lot of red leaves on the trees. So how are the fall colors doing?
Yeah, the fall colors are starting to peak. In fact, this week I think we're going to peak in most of the higher elevations in northern and southern Utah, and then we start to kind of watch that go onto the mid-levels. What we've seen is the mid-elevation leaves are not nearly as brilliant as the high-elevation leaves. And I don't know exactly what has caused that. Everyone's been dry, but it's likely the temperature profile. Some of the higher elevations and the cooler temperatures have allowed those trees to have a little bit more brilliant color. So if you're wanting to get out, one of the really cool things you could do is KSL has posted on their YouTube channel Chopper 5 video every day of different spots across the state. So if you can't get out and drive and go to those spots, you can check it out on the YouTube channel. But if you do get a chance to get out, four-wheeler, ATV, car, whatever, go take a fall drive. This weekend is probably one of the best weekends because after this, it really starts to pass peak in the mountains, and then the mid-elevation and valleys will start coming on here in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks for celebrating the fall equinox with me.
Hey, you bet. Thanks for inviting me. See ya.
Bye-bye. Meteorologist Kevin Eubank joining us to talk about the fall equinox and the changing of the seasons. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Well, that deluge of rainfall that came through and hit Kevin's house, as he was mentioning, in the Bountiful area, it was widespread through a lot of Davis and Weber counties. We're dealing with the effects of what it left behind, and that means soaked and soggy roads, including I-15, where we have an accident northbound, blocking a right lane at 4th North. In the Bountiful area, the ramp is still clear. It's just the right lane on the main flow. In Salt Lake County, rain coming through. It is soaking I-80 near Foothill and the mouth of Parley's, as well as I-215's East Belt in the Mill Creek and Holiday area. But overall, Salt Lake County freeways, no other problems reported. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast looking real nice. I got partly cloudy by this afternoon and a high of 73. 74 mostly sunny skies on Tuesday. Wednesday, full sunshine, 80 degrees. 85 and sunny again on your Thursday. That'll be the top of the hill. Then we start to cool a little bit here. On Friday, mostly sunny, 82. 81, mostly sunny again on Saturday. How about Sunday? Partly cloudy skies and a high of 80. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And we've seen just some light rain, but pretty windy, 60 degrees here in downtown Salt Lake City. 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. And a quick check of the markets. You're in positive territory. Complete update of your money news coming up next.
The Garden Restaurant has been open for a few months, and if you haven't stopped by, now is the time to get downtown and check out what everyone's been raving about. And if you have visited the new space, schedule a time to come on back. Grab a friend and come visit one of Salt Lake's best gathering spots for lunch. You'll be greeted by the delicious smell of fresh baked goods, like our famous Lionhouse rolls, perfect for taking home for family dinners. Or maybe you have a sweet tooth and are craving one of our brand new cinnamon rolls. They're the size of a dinner plate and perfect for sharing between a group of friends. Come smell and taste the garden for yourself. Enjoy the beautifully reimagined space and convenient location with new street access on the ground floor of the Joseph Smith Memorial Building. Open weekdays 11 to 3. Choose from healthy and delicious options like the turkey pot pie, jalapeno pork and grilled cheese sandwiches, tomato bisque soup, and nut and berry salad. All favorites not to be missed. So much to choose from. Check out the menu at thegardenslc.com. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. I spoke with the hiring manager who told me that 3 of the 10 resumes that he had in the top listed pile were almost identical. Same wording, same experiences, same interests, but different names. The candidates had used the same AI program to modify their resume to fit the job description. It was no surprise that the AI-based hiring program labeled them as one of the top candidates. But it got worse. Other candidates had almost identical answers in the phone interviews because AI told them what they thought the employer wanted to hear. Much as we would like the computer to tell us who to hire, successful managers will still need to use the basic interpersonal skills to make the right hiring decision. If you want to know more about how to make good hiring decisions, consider an MBA at Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
KSL News Time 1226. The effects of last week's hack attack on systems used by several major airports in Europe are still impacting travelers today. ABC's James Longman has more on the story from the foreign desk.
It's not the airlines or the airports that were hacked directly, but a piece of software which is made in the United States by Collins Aerospace, which was hacked. And that company are now running updates today to try to get the situation resolved. But as yet, we still haven't had any update on who is behind this hack.
Brussels airport seems to be the hardest hit, with half of its flights canceled today. Watching Utah's money, car prices are starting to level out, but repair costs are up. CNN reports from July to August, the cost to repair a car jumped 5%, and it's up 15% from a year ago. Buy now, pay later features are convenient to use, but it could start affecting your credit score in the coming weeks. The FICO announced it will be taking those loans into consideration earlier this year, and they are set to start taking effect this fall. Pfizer is set to buy weight loss drug developer Metsera for almost $5 billion. It's joining the weight loss medication boom that we're seeing with multiple developers on the market. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 66 points, sitting at 46,381. S&P up by 27, the NASDAQ up 151 points.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Weather still impacting the drive, Ricky?
Oh, yeah. It is slowing speeds down in Salt Lake County. We've seen it along I-15 in Sandy and Draper, along I-215's Eastbuilt in the Mill Creek Holiday area, as well as I-80 near Foothill and the mouth of Parley's Canyon. So far, the rain seems to be easing in spots and moving on in other areas. So it is causing really dark skies and a lot of water on the roads where it is coming down. Now, we do have crews wrapping up this crash in Davis County, northbound I-15 at 4th North in Bountiful. They're picking up the cones, getting ready to open up that right lane any moment now. Really didn't cause any backups, so you are going to still see good speeds there. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
By this afternoon, calling for a high of 73 with mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. 52 in the overnight, definitely chilly. 74 and mostly sunny on Tuesday. Hey, Wednesday sunshine, high of 80 degrees. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Light rain, 61 degrees downtown.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time 1230. KSL's top story this hour. Utah's congressional maps are getting a full redo and is starting to unfold today on Capitol Hill. A judge threw out the old map, saying lawmakers didn't follow a voter-approved commission's proposal, and now a new set of plans are on the table. We begin our team coverage with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera, who is live on Utah's Capitol Hill with more on where things stand. Eric?
Maria, lawmakers are wrapping up presentations today on 5 new map proposals and will soon take public comments next. Redistricting expert Dr. Sean Trendy says every proposal released last night meets the basic rules set by court.
All of these maps are zeroed out, so they're equally populated. All of them minimize county splits or keep them very low, and same with municipal splits.
The committee has until September 25th to finalize a draft map. Then it goes to 10 days of public comment before a special session vote. The Lieutenant Governor's office says a final map must be locked in by November 10th, so county clerks and candidates are ready for next year's elections. Live from the Capitol, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Utah lawmakers are also now considering a bill to prevent gerrymandering, but some worry it will have the opposite effect. KSL News Radio's Adam Small continues our team coverage.
The bill would require all new maps to undergo a partisan bias test to ensure they don't favor either party and be compared to hundreds of nonpartisan maps generated by a computer. Senator Brady Brammer is sponsoring the legislation.
It uses our past data to make predictions of fairness in the future.
However, Democratic State Senator and Minority Caucus Manager Kathleen Reeby tells me she believes the type of bias test they would use would give Republicans an unfair advantage.
There are numerous partisan bias tests you can use. And so to use just one, or for them to decide upon one without having input about which partisan test they're going to use, I think that's the problem that we're having right now.
Reeby also claims the person who developed this bias test was selected behind closed doors and without consultation from Democrats. Lawmakers are expected to vote on the bill when they hold their special session to vote on their proposed maps on October 6th. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Lawmakers could soon put away the paper and clipboard and opt for more modern signature gathering methods instead. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla has more.
Representative Jordan Tusher tells Inside Sources this method is simpler for all parties.
It instantly verifies, because with the electronic method, someone pulls out their ID, it scans their driver's license, it pulls that information immediately there, and there's no actual holographic signature that is captured.
With the current signature gathering process, a clerk has to review and compare them. Lawmakers think this could reduce the number of errors, especially after a legislative audit found a 5% error rate when looking through signatures for Governor Spencer Cox, Attorney General Derek Brown, and Senator John Curtis's campaigns last year. A newly enacted law also allows officials to use paper and electronic methods when before they could only pick one. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
We'll have more on this story posted at kslnewsradio.com. Representatives Blake Moore and Celeste Malloy are introducing new legislation that would give nearly 300 acres of federal land to the city of Fruit Heights in Davis County. They say the change would allow for the expansion of the existing trail system, leading to more recreational opportunities for Utahns. The land conveyance would put the responsibility of costs and maintenance on Fruit Heights. The city's mayor says he supports the plan. KSL's top national stories. The Trump administration is expected to announce today a link between taking Tylenol during pregnancy and autism. More from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze, who says there are no studies proving that the use of Tylenol carries autism risks for children.
Researchers say that the rates of Tylenol use in pregnancy have actually gone down in recent years, even as autism rates have risen amid increased awareness of the disorder and also widening definition of the spectrum. The CDC does say that 1 out of every 31 8-year-olds had autism in 2022. That's compared with 1 out of every 150 children in the year 2000.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said earlier this year he wanted to find a root cause to autism by this month. Many researchers who have studied autism links for decades say several months isn't enough time. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. We're getting reaction from the federal government after California's governor signed a bill into law that would make it illegal for most police to wear masks or face coverings while on duty.
In a post on X, the Department of Homeland Security says it will not comply with California's new law signed by Governor Gavin Newsom on Saturday, making it illegal for federal agents to cover their faces while they're on duty, as has become routine during immigration enforcement. The DHS claims ICE agents are facing a 1,000% increase in assaults and that their family members are being targeted. California's new law makes it illegal for most law enforcement to cover their faces. It's unclear how and if California will try to enforce it upon federal agents. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
First look traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
We do have some wet roads out in the valley, so you may want to slow your speeds, plus delays southbound SR 36 Main Street into Willa County due to road work. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:36.
Hello, car donation hotline.
Hi, I'd like to donate a car to the Utah Kidney Foundation. Are you in Utah?
Awesome. Let's get some info and we'll send you a tow truck.
But I want my car donation to benefit my neighbor in Farmington who needs a transplant. Are you in Utah?
That's a gnaw. I'm in SoCal, but you're still donating to charity.
What charity?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I want my donation to stay in Utah.
Righteous dude. You need to call tow cars in Utah. Locals only, am I right?
Oh, yeah. I remember tow cars with a K like kidney. It's on a billboard somewhere. TOWKARS.org. That's it. Towcars.org.
If you'd like your vehicle donation to help Utah kidney patients in the Beehive State, please use the web address on their billboard, towcars.org, to donate your old car or truck. That's TOWK like kidney, ARS. Towcars.org.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top local story. Utah lawmakers are at the Capitol today looking at several proposals for a newly redrawn congressional map after a judge tossed out the old maps. KSL News Time, 12:38. A 17-year-old is recovering after being stabbed at a homecoming dance in Spanish Fork. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
It was around 9:20 p.m. Saturday night when Spanish Fork police showed up to the Maple Mountain High School. Officers tell KSL TV a fight happened in the east parking lot between several teens, and one was stabbed in the leg. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover. A 16-year-old suspect has been arrested and taken to the Slate Canyon Detention Center. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
The teen is now being investigated in connection with the murder in Midvale. Unified Police say they responded to a traffic accident on Thursday night, and when they got there, they immediately had to start life-saving measures on one man. The man died at the scene. While investigating, though, they found the man had a gunshot wound. The next day, a 14-year-old from Midvale was arrested and booked into the Salt Lake County Juvenile Detention Center. No other details have been released. A suspected car thief is in jail thanks in part to an iPad. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Murray police say a suspect saw an open garage, and inside the garage he found keys left in a car, so he took it. Also in the car there was an iPad, AirPods, and 3 pairs of Air Jordans. But once the car was reported stolen, those Apple trackable products, they led police right to the car in West Valley City. Court documents say the suspect, Derek Loomer, saw police coming. He ran off, jumping fences, and ditched the electronics as he ran.
Police say he was eventually found asleep and still holding 1 pair of the Air Jordan sneakers that he told police that he planned to sell. Utah State Tax Commission is warning Utahns about a new phishing scam making the rounds. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has the story.
The Tax Commission warns that the text will appear to come from an official source demanding personal and financial data from the user. Problem is, they say they will never request banking or personal information over text message. If you receive a text like this, the Tax Commission says you should report the scam to the Federal Trade Commission at reportfraud.ftc.gov and delete the message immediately. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We do have the crash that has been cleared northbound I-15 in Bountiful at 4th North. All lanes are now open. Rain coming through in parts of Salt Lake County, making for a very wet drive on I-15 in Draper, especially if you're going between 123rd and 146th South. And we have construction delays again today. This is going to be southbound SR 36 Main Street into Willa County, going from Erda down to about 10th North. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
After some lingering morning showers, we'll shape up for a beautiful day. Partly cloudy skies and a temperature of 73 this afternoon. 52 overnight. We'll go to 74 tomorrow, mostly sunny. Sunshine on Wednesday, high of 80 degrees. Nice weather headed our way. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, a bit blustery in downtown Salt Lake City and 61 degrees. And coming up on midday, we're hearing from a public official who wants to see some changes to the law because she's worried about the safety of those in the public eye. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Common Spirit Health has expert orthopedic care that gets you back at it and back to your best. Find skilled orthopedic physicians at Common Spirit locations who specialize in general orthopedics and repair of hips, knees, shoulders, and hands, so you can return to running races or chasing the grandkids. Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Orthopedic care with human kindness is here. Visit mountain.commonspirit.org.
KSL News Time, 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah lawmakers are now considering a bill that would require future congressional maps to undergo a partisan bias test to prevent gerrymandering, but opponents worry it could have the opposite effect. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Representatives Blake Moore and Celeste Malloy are trying to transfer nearly 300 acres of federal land into the hands of the city of Fruit Heights in Davis County. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
A new accident in Davis County. This is northbound Hillfield Road in the Forbes Avenue area of Layton. It's blocking some left lanes of travel. And if you're traveling on I-84, some westbound delays going from the South Weber area towards Adams Drive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
70s for the next couple of days. Then we get some 80s. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 64 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump's choice as interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia has been sworn in today. It comes after the ouster of the top prosecutor. ABC's Alex Mallon has more.
It's really going to be worth watching how that U.S. Attorney's Office responds and whether they move forward with prosecutions of two political enemies of Trump that he singled out in a social media post over the weekend. Jim Comey, the former FBI director, and New York Attorney General Letitia James. We heard President Trump over the weekend in those extraordinary posts saying that Bondi had to act now and that he was giving her Lindsay Halligan to install at EDVA in order to move fast in those prosecutions.
The White House is expected to announce its findings into autism and possible links today. Researchers are pushing back on reports suggesting autism is connected to the use of acetaminophen under the brand name Tylenol, saying the data is limited compared to decades of science. On Wall Street, stocks are up in afternoon trading. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. Members of Congress say they're looking for heightened security in the wake of the murder of Charlie Kirk. On a local level, city council members, mayors, and county clerks say they've been worried about an uptick in threatening behavior for some time. That includes Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner, who told Inside Sources she's asked to have her information protected after receiving two threats from opposite ends of the political spectrum in the past year.
I currently have the status of an at-risk government employee because we had people show up at our home address.
Wow.
And I have a letter from the sheriff to become an at-risk employee so that my address can be restricted. We sold that house, and my family moved to a new house, and that new house is restricted. And I literally had to go to a battle with our county clerk who was trying to remove me from the withheld list and my family from the withheld list from the voter registration because he didn't see why I needed it. I had a letter from the sheriff, and I'm still fighting with the county clerk to restrict our address because people showed up at our house.
Powers Gardner says it's also happening to lower profile elected and even appointed officials.
We had two members of our planning commission just this month that had people show up at their homes. We had two people that serve at a volunteer basis on the Utah County Planning Commission who had people show up at their homes. Now, those people were peaceful and they just wanted to talk, but regardless, they found their home address and showed up at their homes.
Wow.
I would actually really like to see the legislature pick this up as an issue. And I think if you're serving in elected office or if you're serving on a board or a commission for the government, I think we should be able to restrict your address because sometime in the last 5 years, at least here in Utah for sure, people cross that line where they think it's acceptable to show up at someone's house. Greg, you mentioned I have kids. I have a child with a diagnosed anxiety disorder. Having people show up at our house is very detrimental for his health.
There is currently a bill before Congress aimed at improving safety and security for members of Congress and their families. It does not yet have any language to tell us exactly what lawmakers intend to do. Traffic and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We do have a new accident. This is going to be in the South Weber area, westbound I-84, blocking a left lane of travel. It's a couple of miles west of the Highway 89 junction, not far from Adams Avenue. But with that left lane blocked, we are seeing delays stacking up westbound I-84. Also, a crash blocking lanes of travel. This is northbound Hillfield Road. It's called Forbes Avenue. It's prior to SR 193 in the Layton area, prior to 3000 North. But even though there are lanes blocked, you are able to get around the area. Delays due to roadwork southbound SR 36 Main Street from Erda, starting after Erda in Tooele County. And rain coming through again, this time Utah County. It's slowing speeds on I-15 through Lehigh. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starting cool in the 70s today. After a morning shower, we'll go partly cloudy, 73. 74 tomorrow, mostly clear. Sunshine Wednesday, Thursday with highs in the 80s. We'll go to 82 on your Friday. And then how about Saturday? 81 degrees. Weekend looks good, partly cloudy. 80 by Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And the sun has come out 64 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets, seeing a lot of positive numbers. Complete update of your money news is coming up next.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
Come on, the meeting's already started.
Sometimes it's important.
Last call, boarding gate number 9.
Sometimes it's urgent.
Trip for Aurora.
Sometimes it's vital. Hospital treatment within 1 hour of a stroke can prevent lifelong disability. If you notice someone experiencing sudden weakness on one side or having a problem speaking, walking, or seeing, call 911 fast. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
KSL News Time 12:54. Ever tried to cancel your Amazon Prime membership? The Federal Trade Commission says it's far too difficult, and now they are filing suit.
Federal regulators say Amazon tricked people into signing up for Prime without their knowledge or consent and then created a labyrinth of web pages to make it hard to cancel. The FTC is seeking refunds to consumers and a court order prohibiting Amazon from using subscription practices that could confuse or deceive customers.
ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Watching Utah's money. AI has the potential to take over some jobs, and some are more at risk than others. Aspen Analytics says work that involves routine knowledge will likely be the first to be impacted, including transcriptions, scheduling, and other work that could be repetitive. Nissan is working on self-driving technology. It likely won't be available to drivers until 2027. The new technology is designed for congested, unpredictable city streets. Market researcher Industry Arc says the self-driving car market is estimated to reach $2 trillion by 2030. Poppy customers have under a week to file a claim and get a piece of an $8.9 million settlement. It was to settle a lawsuit where the company improperly labeled the sodas as gut healthy. Customers must have proof of purchase to get some of the money. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 85 points, sitting at 46,400. S&P is up by 29 points. The NASDAQ up more than 0.5%, up 145 points. NASA is getting some new astronauts. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more.
At a ceremony at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas.
It's an exciting time to be here, and I couldn't be more thrilled and honored.
Anna Menon was one of 6 women and 4 men picked to begin a 2-year astronaut training program. Erin Overcash described getting the call.
And the first words that I said on the phone were, "No way." I mean, yes, of course.
After training, the new astronauts will crew missions to the International Space Station, the Moon, and one day, possibly, Mars. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
NASA selected this group of astronauts from more than 8,000 applicants.
Hi, Utah families. We all would do anything we could to boost our children's confidence and set them up for success. And Smile Zemi can help. Smile Zemi is the personalized learning tablet designed for students from kindergarten through 5th grade. Smile Zemi adapts to your child's level and learning style, delivering engaging lessons anytime, anywhere. Each lesson offers just right challenges, not too easy, not too hard, keeping learning fresh, motivating, and confidence building. Visit smilezemi.com to learn more.
Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Shop with any Mountain America credit or debit card for a chance to win a $5,000 vacation voucher. Simply tap, insert, swipe, or click to be entered to win now until October 31st. Use any card, win any trip from Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/anycard for official rules or to apply. Loans on approved credit. Membership required based on eligibility. Insured by NCUA. Limited time offer. Offer can change or be withdrawn at any time.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
So, you want to be a hero. Here are some ways to get the job. Hunt down that killer shark. Or run into a burning house to save a kitten. Luckily, there's an easier way to become a hero. Call 911 if you see someone experiencing the symptoms of stroke, sudden weakness on one side, or trouble speaking, walking, or seeing. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. You'll be a real hero. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
The crash that we had northbound on Hillfield Road prior to SR 193 near Forbes is pretty much in the cleanup stages. We still have some residual delays from an accident westbound to I-84 in the South Weber area prior to Adams Avenue. Utah Opera presents The Shining. Based on Stephen King's thrilling novel, Jack Torrance's descent into madness comes to life on stage October 11th through 19th. Tickets start at $26 at utahopera.org/redrum. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the rainiest of the week with a 60% chance of showers and a high of 73 degrees. Tomorrow up to 74, and that chance of rain disappears. Then it comes back, just a slight chance of showers from Thursday through Sunday. Right now, 66 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
All eyes on Utah's Capitol Hill this week as the state looks to create new court-ordered congressional maps. While a committee reviews 5 options, lawmakers toy with other ideas to streamline the process in the future.
It uses our past data to make predictions of fairness in the future.
But Democrats remain opposed.
I think that this is just another tool that they are using to create a lack of representation for Salt Lake County.
The time is 1 o'clock on Monday, September 22nd. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, the map redrawn. We have special team coverage on the future of Utah's congressional maps. Also this hour,
Charlie's wife, Erica's speech was the most profound.
Utahns who made the trek to Arizona for Charlie Kirk's memorial sharing the moments that impacted them the most. But first, our top stories. Utah Valley University is now launching a review of their safety practices after the murder of political activist Charlie Kirk on campus. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has details.
UVU says they've initiated a comprehensive independent review with an outside organization. Previously, the university has said there were 6 officers monitoring Charlie Kirk's speaking event the day he was shot, as well as Kirk's security team and some officers in plain clothes. However, bags weren't checked and neither were rooftops. In a statement today, UVU's president, Astrid Tuminez, says they believe a review of this targeted act of violence will offer valuable insights on how college campuses can improve their responses and preparedness going forward. She says they'll use any findings to strengthen their current safety practices at UVU and hopefully throughout all of Utah higher education. The university says they're also forming a committee that will help develop a memorial for Kirk. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Utah has confirmed its 34th case of measles. The latest is in Cache County. The Bear River Health Department says the patient was not vaccinated, and the health department is working to contact anyone who may have been exposed. KSL's top national story from ABC News. President Trump is expected to speak about autism today, announcing a link between taking Tylenol while pregnant and autism. Researchers say there are no studies proving a link between the two. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has more.
Researchers say that the rates of Tylenol use in pregnancy have actually gone down in recent years, even as autism rates have risen amid increased awareness of the disorder and also widening definition of the spectrum. The CDC does say that 1 out of every 31 8-year-olds had autism in 2022. That's compared with 1 out of every 150 children in the year 2000.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said he wanted to find a root cause to autism by this month. Other national stories KSL is following. In the northern San Francisco Bay Area, residents are on alert because of an aggressive squirrel that's been attacking residents.
In San Rafael, there has been a series of attacks perpetrated by a vicious squirrel.
She almost killed me.
Its victims have claw and bite marks. They've had to go to the emergency room. The squirrel jumps onto its victims as they're out walking or in their yard. The reddish squirrel has attacked multiple victims, including Isabel Campoy.
Tried to jump to my face, which I tried to protect my face from.
Experts say the behavior typically comes from a squirrel that was fed by humans early in life and gets aggressive. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 95 points, about 0.25%, sitting at 46,411. S&P up by 30 points, the NASDAQ up 154 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We have rain coming through in Utah County, slowing speeds on I-15. Anywhere from Orem in through Lehigh, where we have a new accident on the southbound side of I-15 Lehigh, not far from Main Street. Also, delays continue due to the crash in the South Weber area, westbound to I-84 prior to Adams Avenue. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
60% chance of showers today, but no chance of showers tomorrow. Today's high 73, 74 tomorrow, up into the 80s by Wednesday. 66 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
In today's digital world, outdated technology can slow you down. You need a partner who keeps you ahead of the curve. At Les Olson IT, we help your business thrive with top-tier office technology, from copiers and IT hardware to advanced IT services and security solutions. With Les Olson IT, you get more than just products. You get solutions, service, and a team that cares. Les Olson IT, empowering businesses with the tools for success.
Les Olson IT.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Ticket packages for the Utah Mammoth 2025-26 season are available now. From full season and half season packages to mini plans and other flexible options, choose the ticket package that fits you best and be part of the action all season long. Call or text 801-325-PUCK to talk with a rep or visit nhl.com/Utah/tickets/season tickets to learn more.
Utah lawmakers are back at the drawing board today, literally, as they work to create new congressional maps. It comes after a court ruled that the old ones violated voter-approved standards. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The maps redrawn. Our special coverage begins with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera, who is live at the Utah State Capitol. And Eric, where do things stand now?
Maria, right now, lawmakers are taking public comments after a morning full of presentations on 5 brand new map proposals. The court ordered this redo after striking down the maps approved in 2021, saying they didn't comply with Proposition 4, the voter initiative that set up rules to limit gerrymandering. Redistricting expert Dr. Sean Trendy explained the test lawmakers are using to make sure these new maps are fair.
The textbook definition of partisan symmetry would simply be at different points, and this is going to get a little gobbledygooky, but at different points on the votes to seats curve, opposing points on that votes to seats curve, do you get equal results? So take the map back to 50-50 to see what a neutral election looks like. If you move 3 points to the right and the map gives Republicans a certain number of seats, is that the same number of seats as you would get if you were to move 3 points to the left?
But not everyone agrees on relying so heavily on that one test. Many during public comment have questioned it, and Democratic Senator Luz Escamilla asked whether Utah should be using additional tools to fully measure fairness.
Prop 4 very clearly states that we have the opportunity. I mean, it's asking us to use best or the best available methods beyond partisan symmetry. So will you think as an expert that in Utah, following Prop 4, Section 4, of subsection 4 of Prop 4, that we should utilize other methods beyond partisan symmetry?
So, Eric, what does the schedule look like for the rest of the week as this process moves forward?
So tomorrow and Wednesday, they'll continue meeting to go over feedback and fine-tune the proposals. The redistricting committee has until September 25th to agree on one final draft map. Once that draft is chosen, there's a 10-day public comment period where Utahns can continue to weigh in before the legislature holds a special session to vote on it. And there's a hard deadline. The Lieutenant Governor's office says everything must be finalized by November 10th so county clerks can prepare ballots and candidates can register in time for next year's elections.
All right. Thanks, Eric. We'll continue to track the maps as it goes through this process. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera live at the state capitol. Along with the new map boundaries, Utah lawmakers are also now mulling over a bill that seeks to prevent gerrymandering in the future. But opponents to the bill say it could have the opposite effect. The maps redrawn. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
If this bill is passed, future congressional maps would have to undergo a partisan bias test to ensure neither party has an unfair advantage, and that includes putting any proposed map up against hundreds of nonpartisan maps generated by a computer. Senator Brady Brammer is sponsoring the legislation.
It uses our past data to make predictions of fairness in the future.
However, Democratic State Senator and Minority Caucus Manager Kathleen Reeby tells me,
I think that this is just another tool that they are using to create a lack of representation for Salt Lake County.
Reeby says she believes the type of bias test that would be used could give Republicans an unfair advantage.
There are numerous partisan bias tests you can use. And so to use just one, or for them to decide upon one without having input about which partisan test they're going to use, I think that's the problem what we're having right now, is the person that developed this partisan bias test is not somebody that was decided upon. And when we discussed how they hired this person, I was curious to when that was in front of the senators, and when that person was hired, who's paying them, and where's that line item? Because we have a lot of different confirmation hearings regarding the water board, the trustees, the school board when somebody resigns, and here it is, we're going to make congressional maps, and we didn't have any say on who we hired and what was the partisan bias test that he was going to use or she was going to use.
But Senator Brammer says
part of the problem that we're trying to solve for is, can we get to a system that does not leave the courts in picking winners and losers, but instead gets the courts into the process of, did they comply or not? And you may disagree with the methods and this being the best method or not, but we are tasked with choosing the best available method. Now, the parties could still use other analyses in their own data analysis, but for purposes of compliance, that is within the discretion of the legislature to choose whether it meets compliance or not for purposes of, does it unduly favor or disfavor a party.
While Senator Reeby claims Democrats did not get a say in what kind of bias test was chosen, lawmakers are expected to discuss the bill more over the next 2 weeks.
We're using every tool we have in our toolbox. We are seeking other counsel. We are seeking other tests. We're doing everything we can to make sure that we are doing all we can to represent the people of our district and give them fair representation in Congress. So we are doing everything we can. And we haven't seen this bill yet. So we got it last night. We were all looking at it. I think we've made some choices and some changes, and we're going to have some amendments. And I think we were also going to look at hiring some other people so that we can have another voice to another expert that might be a balancing.
Lawmakers are expected to vote on the bill on October 6th when they hold a special session where they will also vote on a congressional map draft to send to a judge for approval. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We will continue to track the developments with the new congressional maps, bringing you updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. Midday continues in just 30 seconds.
Tonight on KSL.
I'm going to buy pizza for 30 kids, and then a bunch of parents will shoot me a Venmo.
When do those quick app payments from friends become taxable?
I think that there is reason to be concerned.
KSL investigates how the rules have changed, and now transferring just $600 a year could mean having to deal with the IRS.
How quickly do you think you would reach that $600 limit?
I could in a month.
Payment apps taxing transactions. Tonight at 10 on KSL and the KSL Plus app.
A long list of people from the Christian political activist community and the Republican Party eulogized slain conservative youth activist Charlie Kirk in Glendale, Arizona on Sunday. Tens of thousands came out to mourn and remember Kirk. Even President Trump marveled at the crowd size for the prominent political figure who spent his career appealing to a younger audience to hear his conservative message. ABC's Matt Rivers was at the memorial yesterday and joined the Start Here podcast this morning to share some of the highlights, including remarks given by Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, and the new CEO of his organization, Turning Point USA.
This was a massive event. There's no other way to describe it. Tens of thousands of people, many of whom had to show up before dawn because this was not reserved seating. This was first come, first serve. And so many people showed up well before the sun came up just to get a chance to go inside. You know, it kind of had a couple of different vibes. I would say one vibe kind of felt like church. There was a lot of Christian bands. People were worshiping. That was by design, according to the organizers.
Charlie Kirk called me his pastor. I called him my friend.
Felt a little bit political at times, of course, but overall, it was a remembrance.
You see, Charlie looked at politics as an on-ramp to Jesus. He knew if he could get all of you rowing in the streams of liberty, you'd come to its source, and that's the Lord.
It was a remembrance of a man who was beloved by millions of people in this country. Was he controversial? Of course, but the people that were here loved this man.
Charlie's having some serious heavenly FOMO right now.
He transformed the face of conservatism in our own time.
We love you, we miss you, and we will not let you down.
People remembering him both as an activist, but as a political figure, no one more poignant than his wife.
I will miss him so much because our marriage and our family were beautiful. They still are.
His wife walked out, and I think safe to say was remarkably composed, given what her family has been through over the last 2 weeks or so since Kirk's murder.
He wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life.
She spoke calmly, she spoke eloquently, she talked about, the values of family and faith that Kirk was so much about publicly.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do.
But I think the moment that took everyone's breath away was when she forgave the alleged shooter of her husband.
That man, that young man, I forgive him.
And I don't think anyone was really expecting that per se, but it was a remarkable moment of grace. The crowd was silent and then erupted into applause.
State Senator Heidi Baldería attended the memorial service in Arizona. She wasn't planning on attending at first, but got a last-minute opportunity to join with other lawmakers who made the trip down south.
It was an opportunity that I wanted to seize because, while it's certainly important to honor him here, where the tragic events happened, I was honored to have the opportunity to go and be, just join in mass with people from all over.
She spoke with Midday's Andy Cupp about the experience, describing the mood of the service that she said was positive. She felt like it was a place filled with love, not just love of Charlie Kirk, but love of free speech.
Just very, very positive, very upbeat. People just, finding a way to express not only their feelings for an individual, but for the expression of free speech, for someone who revered freedom and Christianity, that was openly fighting for things that they believed in. And so I don't think it was just about honoring Charlie, but honoring the ideals that he espoused.
One of the parts that stuck out to Senator Baldería the most?
Charlie's wife, Erica's speech was the most profound. Just the fact that she was, able to speak after so soon after her husband's assassination, and then her forgiveness of her assassin was extremely moving. As a matter of fact, one of my colleagues, I won't name him, but another legislator that was attending, who's a male, said, I don't ever cry. And he found himself crying. It was just extremely moving to have that, the ability to do that so soon, after this has occurred. That was the highlight and the biggest takeaway, right?
Senator Baldary says in the end, Charlie left this world without regrets and left us with a call to be leaders worth following. Following Kirk's murder at a political event, many have voiced concerns with safety at future political events. So what Utahns are saying in new polling released today, coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn every day spanning into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We do have a small accident southbound I-15 after 2100 North Lehigh, out of traffic on the shoulder. And then delays remain with an accident in the South Weber area westbound to I-84 prior to Adams Avenue Parkway. It's been blocking a left lane. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooler weather. What a relief, unless you have old drafty windows. Soon the heat will escape through the cracks and your energy bill's going to go through the roof. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products and get brand new state-of-the-art custom windows and frames at factory direct pricing. The factory is right here in Salt Lake City, where they've been building precision windows since 1986, and you're going to save a lot of money since there's no middleman markup. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows. Even better, call now and they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Double pane argon-filled windows with a low-energy triple coating, any style, any color, and Advanced Windows gives you a lifetime warranty. If you have an issue, they're not 10 states away. They're right here in town, and they offer 0% 60-month financing. So make the call now. Get $2,500 off. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAIN.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Hi, Grandma. What's for dinner?
Hey, honey, I'm making stew tonight.
Ooh, can Nina come over?
I'm not sure about our new friend. I wonder if there's been any drinking going on. Alcohol at her age can lead to so many bad things.
I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
This is hard. She's so young, but I know I need to talk to her about it now before someone tries to give her alcohol.
If anyone ever does offer you a drink, I want you to say no. I have too much respect for my family, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay.
Really?
I promise, Grandma. I love you too.
Okay, how about tasting this stew and telling me what you think?
Some children may try alcohol as young as 9 years old. It's not too early to talk about drinking. For tips on how to begin the conversation, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. In a poll released today, Utahns say they don't feel safe attending political events in the U.S., this coming after the murder of Charlie Kirk. The Deseret News Hinckley Institute of Politics polled just over 500 Utah adults, asking them if they felt safe attending political events or rallies in the U.S. 62% said they either don't feel very safe or they don't feel safe at all. More than half of those polled said that they are now less likely to attend political events. For more on this, let's bring in Jason Perry, director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics at the University of Utah. Jason, thanks for being with me.
So glad to be with you.
So is this justifiable? Should people be worried?
Well, we're looking at this through the lens of the events that happened over the past couple of weeks and going back for the last couple of months in this last year. And there are enough episodes and incidents and things that have caused people to think about these political events. And that's a very interesting number for us, just right after what happened here in the state of Utah. 62% of Utahns said they don't feel very safe at all in going to political events. And this is a culmination of events that have led to this, and the impacts are going to be felt in a dramatic way.
Yeah. How does this impact politics? And we all know community involvement is incredibly important.
Well, that's the most important thing. In fact, that's what we do here at the Hinckley Institute. We want engagement. And when we talk to elected officials, we talk to politicians, what they want is to be able to connect with the public. And this is changing the conversations and how elected officials interface with the people. They want to connect. But now there are questions. You want to have a big event? What are the safety protocols around it? And how do you find that right balance where you're providing safety but not keeping people from having speech? We want more speech, not less.
Plus, we want to be able to talk to our representatives, and this is making it scary for them to come out.
Well, it is. And these elected officials do want to talk to us as well, and we want to be able to have access. In fact, unlike what you see in some parts of the country, that's one of the special things about the state of Utah is we do have access to our elected officials. They have town halls. They have events that we can go to. And what we don't want is to get in a situation where those stop happening. Access to our elected officials is one of those key parts of our republic.
Jason, what needs to happen now to maybe lower the temperature on this general rhetoric?
Well, this goes to a poll question that we asked at the same time as we talked about who's most responsible for this, who bears the responsibility. And what's interesting is Utahns feel like part of that responsibility is on the elected officials themselves, on the politicians. In fact, when we said, who do you think bears the most responsibility for the current climate of political violence, that's 43% of Utahns said it was politicians. So really, it's up to these elected officials to really start not just lowering the temperature, but modeling the kind of dialogue that we need to have to make sure voices are heard across the board, whatever they are, and that we are able to keep our voices not just being heard, but actually to be impacting policy.
You mentioned your job is to get people engaged. How discouraging is this for you?
Well, it is discouraging, but really it's up to us on these next steps, what we do to make sure our students and the public does find a way to stay engaged in some way. If we stop participating, if our students stop participating, the opposition wins. There is nothing good for our country or our state if people stop engaging or they feel like they can't. We can't let that happen. We have to create the stage for these events to happen safely, but to continue to happen. Because if we don't do it that way, free speech is what's going to suffer. Access to our elected officials is what will suffer.
Okay. Kind of hope that people have a short memory when it comes to acts of political violence like this, so they'll stay engaged.
Well, we need to find a way to balance both of those things.
All right. Jason, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thank you.
And that is Jason Perry. He's the director of the Hinckley Institute of Politics at the University of Utah. And again, they did a poll that shows that many Utahns say they don't feel safe attending political events in the U.S., this coming after the murder of Charlie Kirk. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Medical marijuana patients may be turning to riskier options for cannabis because of the high cost of regulated pot. The signature gathering process, as we know it, may be changing thanks to technology and KSL traffic. Ricky?
Cleanup continues on a crash westbound I-84, blocking traffic in South Weber. Maria?
Thank you, Ricky. Still a good chance of showers across the Wasatch Front today. About a 60% chance, but that's the most for the week. Then drying out and nice sunshine up into the 80s. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The White House expected to present its findings today, focusing on autism after Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. vowed to look into root causes this year. The report expected to suggest a possible link between the use of acetaminophen, like in Tylenol, during pregnancy and autism. Researchers, though, are pushing back. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Scholze.
No known medical studies have proven that the use of Tylenol, known as acetaminophen, among pregnant women is a cause for autism. Some limited evidence suggested it's associated with higher rates of neurological issues, but studies have been mixed.
In Florida, Ryan Ruth, the man representing himself in the attempted assassination trial against Donald Trump last year, rested his case today. Closing arguments taking place next. The jury could get the case later this week. Volatile storms leading to flood alerts in the nation's midsection and parts of the South today. The same storm that impacted areas near Dallas last night. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story is developing news. Students from Olympus High School went home early today after authorities evacuated the school to investigate a threat. Just before noon, the Granite School District said the threat was non-credible, but they were evacuating the campus out of an abundance of caution. The building was cleared around 12:45. The school district says students were told to just go home since there were only a few hours left in the school day. KSL's top local story. It isn't just public figures with a national presence who are under threat of violence. Local government officials are also receiving threats and want their home addresses restricted.
Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner says she is considered an at-risk employee after having to move when someone showed up at her old address. She tells inside sources that 2 people who volunteer on the Utah Planning Commission also had unwelcome visits at their home. She hopes the Utah legislature will take up this issue and pass a law making elected officials' addresses restricted to the public.
That is KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly reporting. The country's top political leaders are concerned about their safety following the very public shooting of Charlie Kirk. Utah Congresswoman Celeste Malloy says now is not the time to shrink away from politics.
Be smart, be aware of your surroundings, but get involved, step up, lean in. We need young people to be participating. I think isolation is not our friend. And I think opting out of tough conversations is also not going to serve any of us well in the long run.
Malloy says she will continue to do public events and wants to continue to see and hear from her constituents. Other local stories KSL is following. Murray police say they caught up to a suspected car thief because of the iPad left in the car. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
The victim left their garage door open in Murray, and to make matters worse, the keys were also left in the car. Court documents say the suspect, Derek Loomer, he got in, drove off, but police were able to see where he was going because there was an iPad and AirPods also in the car that were easily tracked. Court documents also noted there were 3 pairs of Air Jordans also left in the car. When police caught up to the car in West Valley City, they say the suspect ran, he jumped fences, and eventually dropped all the electronics, but officers did find him asleep and still holding onto a pair of sneakers. He told officers he was on his way to meet someone to sell them. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow up by 111 points, about 0.25%, sitting at 46,426. S&P up by 33. The NASDAQ up by 156 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
Crews are still working on this crash in South Weber. Westbound I-84 had been blocking a left lane prior to Adams Avenue Parkway. Valley Freeway traffic moving along much better. Looks like the rain has eased and the roads are drying out. The Serenoni Warehouse Sale, Saturday, September 27th, 11 to 6 at the Utah Military Academy in Lehi. Save big on luxury blankets for babies, adults, and everyone in between. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sun is back out. The temperature's climbing up to 73 for a high today, 74 tomorrow, but back up into the 80s for Wednesday and Thursday. And that chance of rain disappearing after today, 70 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Tonight on KSL.
I'm going to buy pizza for 30 kids, and then a bunch of parents will shoot me a Venmo.
When do those quick app payments from friends become taxable?
I think that there is reason to be concerned.
KSL investigates how the rules have changed and now transferring just $600 a year could mean having to deal with the IRS.
How quickly do you think you would reach that $600 limit?
I could in a month.
Payment apps taxing transactions. Tonight at 10 on KSL and the KSL Plus app.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A study of medical marijuana users in Utah suggests the state needs to find ways to reduce the cost to patients to prevent them from seeking out unsafe or unregulated options. The interim director for the Center of Medical Cannabis Research at the University of Utah, Dr. Jerry Cochran, joined me to talk about the study. He says they surveyed 200 patients with medical cannabis cards to find out what drove them to seek illegal versions of the drug.
We did an analysis here that looks at reasons or motivations around illicit medical cannabis use, and that's important because it's not just illicit use; it's illicit use of cannabis for medical reasons. Hopefully, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And we did a number of analyses to kind of tease out the motivations, and there were a few that stood out. There were things with regard to cost of the care, access to the healthcare system, experience in the healthcare system, and also the sources of information and the level of trust they had in those sources of information. The things that in kind of the final kind of, if you've read the paper, it's kind of a model building approach. So kind of the final end product model it essentially says three things. The individuals who are worried about access or not having enough access to cannabis products, they'll access or utilize the illicit market. Cost is a big barrier for folks, so people who can't afford using the Utah medical cannabis pharmacies will use the illicit market. One of the things that we thought was really interesting, it wasn't like a hypothesis or anything, but it was interesting that it came out in the data, is that individuals who utilize medical cannabis patients who utilize the state's website and the state's materials and kind of get their information from the states are less likely to use illicit cannabis. So we thought that was
kind of a nice compliment to the work that the state is doing, but also kind of speaks to the trust that people have in the state and the resources that they have regarding the medical cannabis products.
Okay, so when we're talking about cost, is it just the cost of the medical cannabis itself, or the whole procedure, the process around getting the medical cannabis?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in the data, it didn't look like people had a terribly hard time kind of getting the card or getting their renewals. That seems to be a straightforward process. But it is, for some folks, it is difficult, but not overwhelmingly. It seems, though, that the data, the actual in the pharmacy, buying the product from the pharmacy was the hard thing for a lot of folks.
So they're finding that it is expensive, and are they turning to other forms of medical cannabis, I should say, not medical.
Exactly. I mean, this is a small sample, right? This is a couple of hundred people who newly started the program, but in those couple of hundred people, what you just said, when they cannot afford the product in the pharmacy, they are going to the illicit market to obtain the products that they need for whatever healthcare condition they're trying to treat.
So what is the danger in that, besides being illegal?
Yeah, right. So what's nice about buying products from a pharmacy is they are super well vetted. There's lots of regulations in place. There's lots of testing. You know what you're getting when you buy that product, and it probably aligns much more closely with the medical recommendation. Whereas if you buy a product off of the street, you don't know kind of the THC level, how potent it's going to be. You also don't know if there's adulterants in it, like other narcotics. You also don't know about kind of the health of the product, if there's molds in it, heavy metals, stuff you do not want to inhale. So the products you can buy off the street, while they might be cheaper, they do have potentially more health risks for the individual using them.
So what are your overall recommendations to the state?
I'll say bringing it into the kind of the mainstream healthcare pipeline would really make a difference for people being able to access the products that they need for their health.
The study also suggested lower costs and better patient education so patients know why the alternatives may not be in their best interest. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Welcome to fall in Cedar City and Bryan Head, Utah, the perfect place to stay for scenic drives, colorful leaves, and cool mountain air. Experience Cedar Breaks and Zion National Park at their best. And while you're in town, catch one of our festivals to enjoy some small town charm. Pick out your favorite flannel and don't forget the pumpkin spice because Cedar City is waiting for you. We've got something for everybody, so check out visitcedarcity.com to plan your next trip.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
In breaking news this hour, we are just learning that the Jimmy Kimmel Show will return to the air tomorrow night. That news just coming in. We'll bring you more details as we do get them. In other news, the signature gathering process as we know it may be changing as electronic signatures rise in popularity. Representative Jordan Tusher joined Inside Sources this morning to talk about the potential impact of this new age of canvassing.
Well, one of the big benefits that we see with the electronic path is that you no longer have to print out the packets. And there can be a lot of cost associated with printing out the packet, especially on an initiative or a referendum, because you have to print the entire sections of code that are being changed, and or for a municipal issue, all of the development agreements and plans and everything. And so one of the things that I think you're going to see how it affects rural Utah is that there's more of an opportunity for those that maybe don't have a lot of money to be able to mount a referendum or an initiative.
A large concern around this method of gathering has been around authenticity of signatures, but Tusher says this is actually improved by electronic methods.
In the manual method, the gatherers go around, someone signs their signature on a piece of paper, they put their name and their address, and then it goes into a clerk, and a clerk has to find that person, pulls up their signature that they did at the DMV, and everyone knows that that's not, the best representation of their signature, and someone's got to make a call. And there was an audit done last year where they looked at this, and they found it was about a 5% error rate where signatures were either being accepted that probably shouldn't have been accepted, or were being rejected when they probably shouldn't have been rejected. And so what this does is it instantly verifies, because with the electronic method, someone pulls out their ID, it scans their driver's license, it pulls that information immediately there, and there's no actual holographic signature that is captured. And so it decreases the work on our clerks because they no longer have to do that verification process. But we have a process in place that ensures that it is actually that person and not someone else because they're using their physical ID.
The future of signature gathering, like so many other things, may be seeing an electronic revelation. The Utah State Tax Commission is warning Utahns about a new text scam that has been making the rounds. The text will appear to be from the State Tax Commission demanding sensitive personal data. If you don't comply, the text says you can lose a large tax refund. Jason Gardner from the State Tax Commission says he discovered the con by getting his own scam text message.
This text actually came through on my own phone on last Saturday. It was pretty shocking. I showed it to my wife, and we both looked at it and said, boy, this looks pretty legitimate. And luckily, I obviously work for the Tax Commission, and I was able to realize right away that we don't send out these kind of texts. And so I got on it to send out a notice because I worried that if it looked legitimate to me, then I can only imagine how legitimate it would look to the average public.
The issue isn't Utah-specific either. Gardner says this template of trickery has appeared across the nation.
We've been hearing reports that there's been similar texts in other states as well. So I think what they're doing is they're spreading a very broad net, trying to catch as many people. This specific one had changes made to it that targeted the Utah market, Utah audience, and which means that this is a little bit more sophisticated of a scam. We are not sure where it is coming from. It's been reported already to the FBI, but the best we can do at this point is just tell people this is not how the Tax Commission does business. We don't use threats, and the thing of the matter is we are not going to ask for your personal financial information over a text message.
This sophisticated scam and ones like it can be easy to fall for, but there are steps that you can take to keep your data safe, even if it did provide your information.
Contact your bank, let them know. They can do things. They can change your account number. If you provided like a debit card number, they can change all those things to protect you. You have a shorter period of time to protect yourself with a bank account than you do with a credit card, so please do that quickly. You can also go and put a report on your credit report showing that there is a fraud alert, and this will prevent additional credit cards or anything like that from being opened up on your account, which will protect you as well. Those are probably the strongest measures you can take to protect yourself.
If there is one thing to keep in mind going forward, Gardner says it's to stay on guard online.
Just stay vigilant. With the advent of AI, we are finding that scammers are becoming more sophisticated because they're using AI tools to build these types of scams. So when in doubt, when you receive some information, the best thing to do is go to the internet, search up what you know is the legitimate website of the entity that appears to be reaching out to you, and use the number or the email that's on that website to contact that entity. Don't use the phone number that's embedded in a text to contact them, because that's going to be funneling you to their call centers, not to ours.
Jason Gardner from the Utah State Tax Commission. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer is urging President Donald Trump to meet with Democrats to avoid a government shutdown at the end of this month. With the government dancing around a potential shutdown, local IRS workers are concerned about their pay. Ogden IRS Union Chapter President Robert Lawrence says their office will continue to work during the shutdown if it happens.
The Ogden Service Center is what it's known by, is nationally known to be, get the work done, get the work out on a timely manner and in the correct way. So for us, a shutdown, they're not too concerned about, because when there's a shutdown, the IRS is usually deemed essential and they continue to work anyway.
But Lawrence tells KSL News Radio's Josue Sanchez many employees are concerned about how long it will take their paychecks to show up.
The biggest concern is there was a bill passed the last time there was a big shutdown saying that government employees will get paid, but there is nothing saying when they will get paid. So I think the real concern from employees is, are they going to get paid timely on their normal pay schedule, or are they going to have to wait till a potential shutdown is over? And so there's some anxiety when it comes to that. But as far as getting the work done, it's going to be business as usual.
He says this happens time and time again with the budget. IRS employees aren't as worried, but he says the political climate does feel different this year.
They're not afraid to come in and do the work, and they'll do the work. And, they're hard workers over here. And, we want to do the best job we possibly can. And that's where we've gotten our reputation from here in Ogden. But the main concern is, okay, I'm working, but I'm not getting paid. What does this mean? Why aren't I getting paid? And when am I going to get paid? And that's the main concern.
With both sides of Washington digging in, Lawrence says there is a lot of concern that the shutdown may be a big one.
It's kind of early to really be stressing over a shutdown, and especially with the way things have gone in the past. However, there is that little thing in the back here of all our minds. It's like, okay, well, the political climate is a lot different this time around. And both sides seem to be set in their ways. And all we want to do is work. So we are thinking more and more about that. And it'll manifest itself as these next few weeks come about.
Robert Lawrence is the Ogden IRS Union Chapter President. Oktoberfest might not be very boastful with the rising costs of beer around the world. We'll get a closer look at how inflation is affecting this popular German drinking festival. That's coming up after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
More rain coming through, leaving I-15 soaked in soggy Linden, Orem, Provo, and on the southbound side of I-15. An accident as you're approaching the Center Street exit at Provo. It's mostly to the right, but traffic is backed up prior to the exit ramp. The Utah Symphony's Masterworks series features the greatest classical hits from the 1700s to today. Everyone's welcome at Abravanel Hall. Tickets start at $26 at utahsymphony.org/hits. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
September means it's time for Any Hour Services free furnace sale. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and as summer comes to a close and falls right around the corner, the weather gets, well, perfect. And when the weather's perfect, people need a little extra incentive to replace their heating and cooling system. That's where Any Hour Services free furnace sale comes in. For the month of September, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. And there's no catch. There's no raising the price on the air conditioner first. There's no making you buy the most expensive air conditioner to qualify. There's none of that. There's just a desire to keep our technicians working while the weather's mild and a genuine appreciation of you for helping us keep them busy. So if you've been thinking about replacing your old furnace and air conditioner and want to know exactly how much you can save during our free furnace sale, call Any Hour Services today and schedule a free estimate. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A deal to keep TikTok functioning in the U.S. is being organized alongside some of the wealthiest individuals in America, according to an interview given by President Trump to Fox News. Trump name-dropped some of the U.S.'s largest media and tech titans as participants in this deal during an interview.
Because it's so addictive, that's what makes it so valuable. How much money are we talking? How much are these Americans?
A tremendous amount of money.
Billions?
Oh, I'd rather have them, they're very well-known people, and Larry Ellison's one of them. He's involved. He's a great guy. Michael Dell is involved. I hate to tell you this, but a man named Lachlan is involved. Do you know who Lachlan is? It's a very unusual name, Lachlan Murdoch.
Mr. Murdoch.
I believe, and you call him, and Rupert is probably going to be in the group. I think they're going to be in the group. A couple of others, really great people, very prominent people, and they're also American patriots. They love this country, so I think they're going to do a really good job. I'm a little prejudiced with TikTok because, I did so well with the young voter. And by the way, Charlie helped me a lot. Charlie also said, you should get on TikTok. So I think I did that. But others said that too. And did amazingly well on TikTok. And we got record young voters. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Security will reportedly be handled by Oracle, Larry Ellison's company, and will be overseen by a 7-member board, of which 6 members will be Americans. Fall officially kicks off today, but already for weeks now, people around the world have been celebrating the German festival of Oktoberfest. But with prices on the rise, especially for things like beer, is that stopping people from having an under-bar time? Brad Milkey has more in today's episode of the Start Here podcast.
It's the most wunderbar time of the year. This weekend, Munich, Germany welcomed thousands of visitors clad in lederhosen for the annual Oktoberfest party. The world-famous beer festival runs from September 20th through October 5th this year. Yeah, it's longer in September than it is in October. But word on the street, aside from Prost, is how expensive the drinks are. This year, prices for the average beer rose past 15 euros. That's almost 18 bucks. From the Spattens to the Hofbraus, visitors will consume more than 2 million gallons of the stuff, along with 70,000 pork knuckles and 500,000 roast chicken. The famed Oktoberfest tents are more like temporary superstructures, holding up to 6,000 people. Now, to anyone who's been to an American sporting event, 18 bucks might not actually sound that outrageous. Remember, these come in big liter glasses, which hold more than 2 pints each. Germans, though, are used to reasonably priced beer. There have been tons of complaints from the locals, and the fact that organizers don't expect attendance to drop might show just how much the event has evolved in recent years. Table reservations have become more hotly contested, which in turn has led to people selling their tables, sometimes for thousands of dollars a piece. This year, festival officials are cracking down on this by warning visitors that tables are not transferable. If you buy one from some broker online and you show up with someone else's name on the reservation, you'll be told, sorry, you can't get in. Security officials had said they were struggling with sexual assaults and invasive photographs. They say aggressive targeting last year had reduced the number of incidents. And a lot of this revolves around a more basic problem. When people pay all this money and come from all corners of the world for a beer festival, they want to drink. At times, way too much. It was just last year that the festival added free tap water dispensers. Already, they've noticed a drop-off in the number of medical issues and reports of binge drinking. There's a common tension at events like this. As a traditional folksy event becomes an international sensation, at what point does it stop being traditional or folksy?
Oktoberfest means good friends, fun times, and lots of beer.
This was never meant to be a Lollapalooza, but in some cases, tourists from America and elsewhere are so hungry for memorable experiences, they'll pay anything to join the party, while locals who create the atmosphere, seeking a beer for less than half the price, might threaten to spend their October elsewhere.
Yeah, everything's going up, and that is Brad Milkey there on the Start Here podcast. Coming up, ABC Now says late-night host Jimmy Kimmel will be back on air beginning tomorrow night. We'll continue to track that story in the next hour of Midday. Stay with us, won't you?
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This hour, President Trump set to announce what his administration is claiming to be the cause of autism. But medical professionals and parents of children with autism worry about the limited research and messaging today's announcement causes.
I love that they're talking about it. That's important. But I think that they're bringing up really old information that's been researched.
The time is 2 o'clock on Monday, September 22nd. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We'll go in depth on the president's claims that pregnant mothers who use Tylenol cause autism and what the science says. Also this hour,
during today's legislative redistricting committee meeting, many speakers criticized the process, opposing lawmakers' reliance on a single expert's maps.
the maps redrawn. We have more on the state's court-ordered efforts to redraw Utah's congressional maps. But first, our top stories. Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air at ABC starting tomorrow night. ABC confirmed the decision to CNN. The talk show host was suspended indefinitely last week over comments he made about Charlie Kirk. The suspension attracted criticism from all over the political spectrum, as well as praise from those who thought that Kimmel's comments crossed a line. Utah Valley University says it's hiring a third-party review of their safety and security after the murder of Charlie Kirk. School officials say they'll use any findings to strengthen their practices. Local government officials say they've begun getting threats as members of Congress look for new ways to bolster security.
Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner says she is considered an at-risk employee after having to move when someone showed up at her old address. She tells inside sources that 2 people who volunteer on the Utah Planning Commission also had unwelcome visits at their home. She hopes the Utah legislature will take up this issue and pass a law making elected officials' addresses restricted to the public.
That is KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly reporting. The Trump administration is expected to announce a link between taking Tylenol during pregnancy and autism. Currently, there are no studies proving the use of Tylenol raises autism risks for children. Here's ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
Researchers say that the rates of Tylenol use in pregnancy have actually gone down in recent years, even as autism rates have risen amid increased awareness of the disorder and also widening definition of the spectrum. The CDC does say that 1 out of every 31 8-year-olds had autism in 2022. That's compared with 1 out of every 150 children in the year 2000.
We are expecting to hear from Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. shortly. A ransomware attack on a European airport left air traffic snarled all over the continent. It targeted the check-in and boarding systems in Brussels, with delays stacking up in Berlin, Dublin, and at London's Heathrow. Taking a look at your money at this moment, at the close, the Dow is up by 66 points, sitting at 46,381. S&P is up by 29 points. The NASDAQ ending the day up 157 points. That's about 0.75%. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Well, the delays are easing, but the crash is still being loaded up and cleared away southbound I-15 approaching the Center Street exit in Provo. It's mostly to the right, had been affecting that right lane of travel. Then in Weber County, we have a crash 1900 west at 250 north. This is going to be just south of Pioneer Road in the Marriott-Slaterville area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a chance of some lingering showers across the Wasatch Front. Today's high 73, 74 tomorrow, then up into the 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, and through the next 5 days. Right now, 70 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Fall is football season. Hi, this is Doug Wright. You know me as Utah's Mr. Sports, and I know that nothing goes better with fall football than looking forward to a delicious meal after the game at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. We're so fortunate we've got 2 locations, one in the heart of downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple, or, of course, up in the Park City area at Hotel Park City. You can count on the meal prepared perfectly to your tastes. Each and every steak is served sizzling hot on a 500-degree plate, and if you happen to not be in the mood for steak, their entrees are incredible, from seafood to poultry. Sometimes they have specialty entrees on the menu, and of course their desserts are legendary, and the side dishes that you pass around the table to share are wonderful. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. It's fall. It's time to enjoy football and a delicious meal from Ruth's Chris.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Hi, Utah families. We all would do anything we could to boost our children's confidence and set them up for success. And Smile Zemi can help. Smile Zemi is the personalized learning tablet designed for students from kindergarten through 5th grade. Smile Zemi adapts to your child's level and learning style, delivering engaging lessons anytime, anywhere. Each lesson offers just right challenges, not too easy, not too hard, keeping learning fresh, motivating, and confidence building. Visit smilezemi.com to learn more.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Today, the Trump administration is expected to announce that they have found links between taking Tylenol during pregnancy and autism. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said earlier this year that he wanted to find a root cause to autism by this month. But many researchers who have studied autism links for decades say several months isn't enough time. The medical community as a whole largely saying that there are no studies proving that the use of Tylenol carries autism risks for children. We'll hear more from a doctor in just a few minutes. But today, the maker of Tylenol is pushing back, calling it the safest pain reliever option for pregnant women as needed throughout their entire pregnancy. And one prominent association of doctors insists that acetaminophen remains a safe option to treat headaches, fevers, and pain. Earlier this year, Secretary Kennedy spoke about autism, saying it destroys families and children.
This is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes, they'll never hold a job, they'll never play baseball, they'll never write a poem, they'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children, and we need to put an end to it.
The secretary earlier this year also committing to finding a cause for autism by this month. ABC's Andrea Fuigi has more on that commitment.
A commitment to find possible causes of autism within 6 months.
By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures.
Health Secretary RFK Jr. promising during the president's cabinet meeting that he will find out why autism rates are rising.
We've launched a massive testing and research effort that's going to involve hundreds of scientists from around the world.
In 2000, about 1 out of every 150 children was diagnosed with autism. Today, the CDC says it's 1 in every 36. RFK says the numbers are closer to 1 in 31.
That's a horrible statistic, isn't it? And there's got to be something artificial out there that's doing this.
Experts say some of the increase is due to more awareness and a broader definition of autism spectrum disorder. It is possible that a yet unknown factor can also be contributing to the rise, but research thus far shows genetics and advanced maternal age can potentially increase the risk.
And during his address at Charlie Kirk's memorial yesterday, President Trump told the tens of thousands of people who waited hours to hear him there would be some big news today.
We're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer to autism. How about that?
With the announcement today, how is the scientific community responding? Is there evidence to support this hypothesis? I spoke with Dr. Richard Ferguson, president of the Black Physicians of Utah and a partner on our segment, Health Matters on Midday, about the scientific evidence that the White House is using to make this connection.
I really think it could be very misleading and fear-inducing to many women that are pregnant now or about to become pregnant. But I can sort of understand what little fringe evidence, or should I say observational studies, is being used to support this hypothesis. It's just unfortunate that this is being done on a national scale that is going to cause people to lose possible trust in medicine, because I feel this is a form of misinformation. And this has actually already been explored even recently in very large studies. So this coming up again is very unusual. It's almost, I compare this to the same as someone saying vaccinations are causing autism, and that has been proven again and again. And even the study that stated that was redacted and told to be a poorly done study and wrong. So that's kind of how I feel with this. It's going to cause the jobs for us as physicians to be that much harder, and our jobs are already hard. Based on some of the rhetoric and the reach of our HHS secretary.
Many of us, when we get pregnant, we don't want to take any sort of medication and do our best not to do that. But is there a danger in telling women they shouldn't use Tylenol? I mean, is there something where they should be using Tylenol if they need it?
They should be using Tylenol. Now, I think that probably the best way to think about this is let's just take a step back and say, why is Tylenol being used? Well, we use Tylenol to treat pain and fever. And even go a little bit granular here, if you give me a second, acetaminophen or Tylenol, it blocks a particular enzyme in our body that is in our brain and our spinal cord. And this enzyme produces another chemical called prostaglandins. And these chemicals, when they're released, when this enzyme is activated, it produces this chemical, prostaglandin, that causes the increase in pain and body temperature. And all that acetaminophen does, it blocks this ability of this enzyme to produce more of that factor, prostaglandin, to cause us to have lower pain and fever. So we have to remember, we're taking it for pain and fever. That's the indication. So, and it's one of the safest medications that's actually out there and has been studied. I think a lot of people don't, realize that there's not a lot of pregnant women raising their hand to be part of a double-blind, randomized controlled trial when their future child is at risk. But this is one of the medications that has been studied intently for some time, particularly I would cite one 2024 population-based study of nearly 2.5 million children. And it found that after controlling for what I would like to say familial confounding, and when I say confounding, that means anything that's external to the study. So an exposure to actually what's causing the fever. Was there an infection? And then anything else that would be outside of that study, genetics, that could be a confounding factor. But once you control for familial confounding, Tylenol use was not associated with increased risk of autism. That's 2.5 million children that were studied. And there's even a similar finding in a 2025 nationwide report that was with a birth study in Asia, where sibling comparisons occurred, and it showed no increased risk. And in some cases, it pointed an estimate in the opposite direction, meaning reducing, the risk of developing autism. So I think the key takeaway here is this drug has been studied intently for a very long time, and someone even brought forth the question of a linkage to autism. And when you take out genetics, environment, and infection, often some of the reasons not genetics being the reason, but infection being a reason why one may take Tylenol. When you control for all of that, there is no satiation to taking this and impacting your future child, or impacting your child in utero. So I really want people to just take a sigh of relief, take a deep breath. Although the president is going to come on right now, there is no scientific literature beyond a small association in 2 really small studies that were highly susceptible to those confounding factors that are genetics and environmental influences that are probably more causal to an outcome of a birth, such as infection or fever, than actually the drug itself. And in those particular small observational studies that probably, I can only assume, maybe someone spoke to the HHS secretary about, but that is not the reason for autism.
Any final thoughts for us?
Trust your physicians. We go to medical school, PA school, even nurse practitioners. We are not taught opinion. We are taught many facts in medicine that are evidence-based, and they're repeated again and again. We do not take one small study and use that as some form of medical law. That is not how medicine is done. That is not what we practice because you're putting often your lives and your baby's lives in our hands. And we do not take that risk lightly. So believe your provider, believe your obstetrician, your family doctor, your internal medicine doctor, your pediatrician, and that they know the evidence there to support your child taking Tylenol and your child in utero, and that there is no harm besides possibly to yourself and your liver if maybe you're drinking and have been taking in alcohol during pregnancy. There's some mild risk there with elevating your liver enzymes, but overall, unless you have an allergy, Tylenol is one of the safest medications on the market to take, especially if taken prescribed. That's probably my closing statement. Trust your doctor. Trust the current scientific, well-based literature that's out there right now that your doctors, your PAs, your pediatricians, your nurse practitioners know to be safe for you and your unborn child.
Dr. Richard Ferguson is the president of Black Physicians of Utah. In addition to today's announcement on the cause of autism, the White House is also expected to announce what they are calling a cure for autism. They say that a form of vitamin B, sometimes used to treat deficiency caused by chemotherapy, could help end autism. That's based on limited research suggesting that people with autism have a metabolic difference that could reduce the amount of folate that makes it to the brain. What do people involved in the community, those who love and work with people with autism, think about today's announcement? Colleen Kenny is on the Leadership Council for the Autism Council of Utah and is the mother of an autistic child. She's torn by the announcement being made today, saying it's not going to help her family or other families with autistic children.
I love that they're talking about it. That's important. But I think that they're bringing up really old information that's been researched. I think there are things that we could do to progress therapies and to find better ways to help our community. But it seems like we're rehashing things to we've already spent time and money on.
You said that you're at least happy we're talking about it, but are you happy about the way the conversation's going?
No, I'm really disappointed. It's really sad to see such a negative light put on our families. I have a very hard daughter. She has a very, severe disabilities due to her autism, and I still don't think that it's something that I would want to portray as negative for our community.
Maybe for those that don't understand, explain why this is so negative.
My daughter's 27 years old now, and a big part of my life is trying to help her maintain dignity in our community and helping the community learn how to better, include her as opposed to making her feel like she needs to be fixed.
And so that's where conversation about a cure is really at issue.
Correct. I don't think that there's anything wrong with her, autism per se. I think that we could do so much more to help support her sensory needs and some of her other symptoms that she has associated with her autism. But I don't think that in general, her personality and her person is something that needs to be cured or fixed.
I appreciate your perspective. I think that's something that many people just would not understand. They would think, hey, but don't you want a cure?
I don't. I think that I want help and support. I mean, cures are for the things and maybe some of the symptoms, again, that affect her more profoundly, but not for her other abilities in and of itself, no.
What would you rather see happen at this point?
Looking into what could support individuals now. I understand we want to help something in our future generations, but there's families that need help now. There's there's supports that could be better implemented. Those are the kinds of things I wish that we were researching a little bit more as well.
Okay. I appreciate you. Anything that you'd like to add that maybe I didn't ask you?
It's been a really hard time to think about what this means to us going to the grocery stores, what this means going to public transportation with the way and the direction the conversation has been having. Like, it just puts, I do think it puts our family in danger.
Colleen Kenny is on the Leadership Council for the Autism Council of Utah and is the mother of a child with autism. Concern today from prosecutors as the president makes demands on the DOJ that many consider to be political interference on a case. We'll get a breakdown in just a few minutes, but first it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
The crash has just cleared. All vehicles have just pulled away in Utah County, southbound I-15, approaching the Center Street exit, Provo. And we're seeing a good drive on your Salt Lake County freeways, but in Tooele County, delays due to roadwork southbound on Main Street, SR 36. This is going to be as you're passing Erda on the way to the Home Depot. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Fall is my favorite time of year, and it turns out it's your plant's favorite time of the year, too. I'm back at Replenish Landscape Garden Products. Greg and Mike are here. Greg, it turns out your plants really like this time of year. It cools off, obviously, but they still need their nutrients.
They do, and it's a great time to put compost down, whether you're trying to get a few extra weeks out of your plants or if you're getting ready for next year. It's going to have a chance to work throughout the winter time and start breaking down the nutrients so they're available when you plant in the spring.
Mike, I'm thinking of two things. One is protecting those roots during the winter season. The other is feeding them this time of year is important.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the most important things to do throughout the winter time is to protect those roots.
Get the best compost available right now at Replenish Landscape Garden Products. Buy it in bulk, buy it in bag, or have it delivered from 4660 South, 200 West in Murray. Call them at 801-262-5142 or find them online at replenishcompost.com. It's good stuff.
Ticket packages for the Utah Mammoth 2025-26 season are available now. From full season and half season packages to mini plans and other flexible options, choose the ticket package that fits you best and be part of the action all season long. Call or text 801-325-PUCK to talk with a rep or visit nhl.com/Utah/tickets/season tickets to learn more.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
I want more from my checking account. That's why I have Dream Rewards checking from Cyprus Credit Union. I earn points for making everyday purchases, paying my loans, even building my savings. Those points get me awesome rewards like cash back, gift cards, travel, and more. I'm making my everyday spending work for me. Learn more at cypruscu.com.
Cyprus Credit Union, your future is our future.
Insured by NCUA.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. President Trump's latest demands of the Justice Department are alarming to prosecutors. ABC's Catherine Falders joins Start Here host Brad Milkey to describe President Trump's pressure campaign to prosecute the New York Attorney General, Letitia James.
Donald Trump may have authored the art of the deal, but he perfected the art of the steal.
James came to office in 2018, calling Trump an illegitimate president. In 2019, she launched a fraud investigation into the Trump organization itself. Well, flash forward a few years, and this became one of the most devastating verdicts of his career.
Her numbers are fraudulent. She's a fraud.
A judge ruled that Trump, some of his children, and his business had systematically engaged in fraud by overvaluing the company's worth to get better loan terms.
If average New Yorkers went into a bank and submitted false documents, the government would throw the book at them.
Trump himself was barred from running New York-based businesses for 3 years. The company was hit with a $350 million fine. Now, that has since been tossed by a higher court and is under appeal, but James has remained a special target of Trump's ire. Well, last week, ABC broke the news that President Trump, now of course back in office, was now pressing his Justice Department to bring criminal charges against Letitia James. The prosecutor in charge resigned, and now Trump appears to be openly calling his DOJ to press ahead by any means necessary.
While the president appears to be targeting Letitia James, critics say it's not just about James, it's about the Department of Justice's ability to act without political interference. Catherine Falders points to a post that President Trump put out over the weekend on his own social media platform.
Almost seemed like it was supposed to be addressed as a text message to his Attorney General, Pam Bondi. He starts it out by saying Pam, and goes into the fact that he's reviewed what he says is over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially all these people are guilty. He mentions former FBI Director James Comey. He mentions Senator Adam Schiff. He mentions Tish James, of course. He says they're all guilty as hell, but nothing's going to be done. He then goes on to write, we can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. He literally is issuing this public directive to his Attorney General that essentially says, I have decided that they're guilty. I haven't seen the evidence. The Department of Justice has, but I've decided that they're guilty. So now I need to put somebody there who will charge this case. And that's exactly what he does. He puts his former defense attorney, Lindsay Halligan, in the job. She has extremely limited experience. She practiced law once before doing insurance claims in Florida. Remember, this is arguably one of the most important U.S. attorney's offices in the country. They handle the bulk of the nation's espionage and terrorism cases. But so we'll see if one of Lindsay Halligan's first acts is specifically going after Trump's political opponents.
Well, and Catherine, then even beyond Virginia, though, even beyond this district, it seems like Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, had already been seen as very sympathetic to Donald Trump's cause. But this message seemed to say hey, Pam, literally Pam, if I don't like what you're doing, I'll just start telling people what to do. Could that extend then, I guess, to other offices? What's the future of Bondi in all of this?
It's such a great question. And we haven't heard from her. I don't know what she would say to any of this, because we do know through our reporting that she disagrees with what Trump is saying here. She agreed with that U.S. attorney.
I mean, I look at the facts like everybody else. You read the facts, and to me, she looks terrible. She looks like she's very guilty, but that's going to be up to the DOJ.
The president was asked yesterday whether he was going to fire Attorney General Pam Bondi.
No, she's doing a great job. Pam Bondi is doing a great job. I think Pam Bondi is going to go down as one of the best attorney generals of the ages.
But it still begs the question what those behind-the-scenes conversations have been like, especially with the post over the weekend where he is literally putting public pressure on Pam Bondi to indict his political enemies, or people he perceives to be his political enemies.
Well, and that's my last question, Catherine, because there are really two things that critics say can go wrong when an administration starts leaning on the Department of Justice. There's the stick of it. We'll start to punish our political rivals. We'll bring more charges than perhaps are justified against these people. There's also the carrot, right, of making sure bad things go away for your friends. And it appears like you've been reporting on that as another issue has been exploding this week in a case that started before last year's election.
In that case, President Trump is said to have shut down an investigation into his border czar, Tom Homan. He was allegedly recorded accepting cash from FBI agents, posing as business executives as part of a sting operation into government corruption. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. The maps redrawn. We are digging into the congressional redistricting process now underway here in Utah. It's the first day of fall. Are we in store for cooler, wetter weather? We'll get a breakdown with the KSL weather team and KSL traffic. Ricky?
We do have heavy delays in Utah County due to road work westbound on Pioneer Crossing. Maria?
And still a 60% chance of scattered showers today. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Walt Disney Company announcing the return of late-night comedian Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel Live is expected to air a new episode Tuesday night, days after Disney suspended production on the show after Kimmel's comments following the killing of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Disney, the parent company of ABC News, said the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. After days of what they call thoughtful conversations with Kimmel, they reached the decision to return the show.
ABC's Mike Dubusky. The Trump administration is expected to release its findings, suggesting a possible link, it says, between autism and the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy. Researchers and medical experts are disputing the possible link in those Tylenol brands, saying it stems from limited studies. A U.S. Navy official says 8 Navy ships are located in the Caribbean and Pacific waters near Central and South American countries. The deployment preceded the Trump administration confirming it carried out a military strike on a small boat believed to have been transporting drugs. This is ABC.
KSL's top local stories. Students from Olympus High School went home early today after authorities evacuated the school to investigate a threat. Just before noon, the Granite School District said the threat was non-credible, but they were evacuating the campus out of an abundance of caution. The building was cleared around 12:45, close enough to the end of the day that the district told students to just go home. Murray police say they caught up to a suspected car thief because of the iPad left in the car. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
The victim left their garage door open in Murray, and to make matters worse, the keys were also left in the car. Court documents say the suspect, Derek Loomer, he got in, drove off, but police were able to see where he was going because there was an iPad and AirPods also in the car that were easily tracked. Court documents also noted there were 3 pairs of Air Jordans also left in the car. When police caught up to the car in West Valley City, they say the suspect ran, he jumped fences, and eventually dropped all the electronics, but officers did find him asleep and still holding onto a pair of sneakers. He told officers he was on his way to meet someone to sell them. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Security concerns are growing all over the country, including on Capitol Hill in D.C. Congresswoman Celeste Malloy says this isn't going to stop her from holding public events.
We all know that in a world with a lot of different kinds of people, you're always taking a risk when you're out in public. And so I'm still doing public events. I'm still meeting with people. I don't ever want my constituents to feel like I think they are a threat to me.
Malloy says it's important to stay smart and aware of your surroundings, but this is not the time to stop participating in politics. It's not just national figures who say they are at risk.
Some people are deciding not to run for re-election. Others who had thoughts of running for office are now deciding not to. Current Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner tells Inside Sources the commissioner before her, Tanner Ainge, received threats.
When he was the county commissioner, he himself received threats. We had to put sheriff's deputies on his house.
Gardner says she had to move once already after someone showed up at her house, and the county sheriff issued a letter stating she is an at-risk employee. She says she believes anyone who runs or is elected to public office should have their addresses restricted so people can't threaten them at home. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow was up by 66 points, sitting at 46,381. S&P up by 29, the Nasdaq up 157 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We are back to a crash-free commute on the Valley freeways, but typical delays with road work. This is westbound Pioneer Crossing between I-15 and about 3rd East, as well as southbound SR 36 Main Street in Tooele County, going from Erta down to 10th North. Advanced Window Products, factory direct affordable windows. Call today, they're on their way. Financing available, save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Starting the week in the low 70s, but up to 80 degrees by Wednesday and staying in the 80s till Sunday. 72 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Utah lawmakers are back at the drawing board today, literally, as they work to create new congressional maps. It comes after a court ruled that the old ones violated voter-approved standards. The maps redrawn. We have special coverage on Midday, beginning with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Right now, lawmakers are taking public comments after a morning full of presentations on 5 brand new map proposals. The court ordered this redo after striking down the maps approved in 2021, saying they didn't comply with Proposition 4, the voter initiative that set up rules to limit gerrymandering. Redistricting expert Dr. Sean Trendy explained the test lawmakers are using to make sure these new maps are fair.
The textbook definition of partisan symmetry would simply be at different points, and this is going to get a little gobbledygooky, but at different points on the votes to seats curve, opposing points on that votes to seats curve, do you get equal results? So take the map back to 50-50 to see what a neutral election looks like. If you move 3 points to the right and the map gives Republicans a certain number of seats, is that the same number of seats as you would get if you were to move 3 points to the left?
But not everyone agrees on relying so heavily on that one test. Many during public comment have questioned it, and Democratic Senator Luz Escamilla asked whether Utah should be using additional tools to fully measure fairness.
Prop 4 very clearly states that we have the opportunity. I mean, it's asking us to use best or the best available methods beyond partisan symmetry. So will you think as an expert that in Utah, following Prop 4, Section 4, of subsection 4 of Prop 4, that we should utilize other methods beyond partisan symmetry?
So, Eric, what does the schedule look like for the rest of the week as this process moves forward?
So tomorrow and Wednesday, they'll continue meeting to go over feedback and fine-tune the proposals. The redistricting committee has until September 25th to agree on one final draft map. Once that draft is chosen, there's a 10-day public comment period where Utahns can continue to weigh in before the legislature holds a special session to vote on it. And there's a hard deadline. The lieutenant governor's office says everything must be finalized by November 10th so county clerks can prepare ballots and candidates can register in time for next year's election.
KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera reporting from the state capitol. Along with new map boundaries, Utah lawmakers are also now mulling over a bill that seeks to prevent gerrymandering in the future. But opponents say the bill could have the opposite effect. The maps redrawn. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
If this bill is passed, future congressional maps would have to undergo a partisan bias test to ensure neither party has an unfair advantage, and that includes putting any proposed map up against hundreds of nonpartisan maps generated by a computer. Senator Brady Brammer is sponsoring the legislation.
It uses our past data to make predictions of fairness in the future.
However, Democratic State Senator and Minority Caucus Manager Kathleen Reby tells me,
I think that this is just another tool that they are using to create a lack of representation for Salt Lake County.
Reby says she believes the type of bias test that would be used could give Republicans an unfair advantage.
There are numerous partisan bias tests you can use. And so to use just one or for them to decide upon one without having input about which partisan test they're going to use, I think that's the problem what we're having right now, is the person that developed this partisan bias test is not somebody that was decided upon. And when we discussed how they hired this person, I was curious to when that was in front of the senators and when that person was hired, who's paying them, and where's that line item? Because we have a lot of different confirmation hearings regarding, the water board, the trustees, the school board when somebody resigns. And here is, we're going to make congressional maps and we didn't have any say on who we hired and what was the partisan bias test that he was going to use or she was going to use.
But Senator Brammer says
part of the problem that we're trying to solve for is, can we get to a system that does not leave the courts in picking winners and losers, but instead gets the courts into the process of, did they comply or not? And you may disagree with the methods and this being the best method or not, but we are tasked with choosing the best available method. Now, the parties could still use other analyses in their own data analysis, but for purposes of compliance, that is within the discretion of the legislature to choose whether it meets compliance or not for purposes of, does it unduly favor or disfavor a party.
While Senator Reby claims Democrats did not get a say in what kind of bias test was chosen, lawmakers are expected to discuss the bill more over the next 2 weeks.
We're using every tool we have in our toolbox. We are seeking other counsel. We are seeking other tests. We're doing everything we can to make sure that we are doing all we can to represent the people of our district and give them fair representation in Congress. So we are doing everything we can. And we haven't seen this bill yet. So we got it last night. We were all looking at it. I think we've made some choices and some changes, and we're going to have some amendments. And I think we're also going to look at hiring some other people so that we can have another voice to another expert that might be a balancing.
Lawmakers are expected to vote on the bill on October 6th when they hold a special session where they will also vote on a congressional map draft to send to a judge for approval. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We'll continue to track the developments with the new congressional maps, bringing you updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. More Midday in just 1 minute.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Journalists will be unable to gather or report information from the Pentagon going forward without specific approval of its release by the government. If they are found to be collecting or releasing information, unclassified or otherwise, outside of the approved subjects, they will be stripped of their press credentials. Now, this move has been criticized as a direct assault on independent journalism, according to the National Press Club. KSL's legal analyst Greg Skordas gave his perspective this morning on Inside Sources, citing prior restraint as a potential weakness in the decision.
It has long been held that the government can't prohibit speech before it happens. You can't restrict speech before it happens. So this is real, because if you think about, for example, if you look at what the FCC has done to Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, that's speech that occurred.
Right.
They're saying in reaction to something you said, there's going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
In this situation, what they're saying is if you violate this, you will have your press credentials revoked. You will not be able to get access to the Pentagon, which means if you want to do Department of Defense inquiries or media, you're not going to have much access to information.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth took to X to defend the decision, saying that the Pentagon is run by people, not the press. Members of Congress are looking to boost their own security following the murder of political activist Charlie Kirk, but it's not just on the national level. Elected officials across the country and in all levels of government are looking at ways to increase their security. Today on LinkedIn, Utah County Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner posted about the anger and hate of politics that have been hurled at her for years. She's had people show up at her own private home angry about decisions or comments she's made. So she knows firsthand the danger that comes with being a public official. She spoke to Inside Sources this morning about this danger and fear and how it affects more than just the public person themselves. It affects their entire family.
This increasing polarization and rhetoric and talking about how are we going to get good people to run for office if this is what they have to deal with? And I commented on that as being somebody who's currently in the arena, especially having this Charlie Kirk assassination happen here in my county, it makes me question whether I'm safe and whether my family's safe. I didn't mention this in the post, and so you may not know, but I currently have the status of an at-risk government employee because we had people show up at our home address.
Wow.
And I have a letter from the sheriff to become an at-risk employee so that my address can be restricted. We sold that house and my family moved to a new house, and that new house is restricted. And I literally had to go to a battle with our county clerk who was trying to remove me from the withheld list and my family from the withheld list from the voter registration, because he didn't see why I needed it. I had a letter from the sheriff, and I'm still fighting with the county clerk to restrict our address because people showed up at our house.
She says a couple of members of the County Planning Commission, a volunteer position, have had people show up at their homes in the last few weeks to talk. While she says the incidents weren't violent, it still makes her uncomfortable. Now, she wants the state legislature to pick up this topic and do more to protect elected and other public officials.
I would actually really like to see the legislature pick this up as an issue. And I think if you're serving in elected office, or if you're serving on a board or a commission for the government, I think we should be able to restrict your address, because sometime in the last 5 years, at least here in Utah for sure, people cross that line where they think it's acceptable to show up at someone's house. You know, Greg, you mentioned I have kids. I have a child with a diagnosed anxiety disorder. Having people show up at our house is very detrimental for his health.
Powers Gardner says the murder of Charlie Kirk has caused her to really reevaluate whether being in public office is worth the threats and dangers posed to her family. Today's the day, the fall equinox.
Hallelujah.
Okay, after the break, we'll chat about the official beginning of the best season around, according to my producer, at least. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
A toll on some of the roads, including Utah County, where right now we have plows out scooping up a flooded area with a lot of mud, and it has closed the road. This is northbound Highway 89 State Street. This maintenance is going to take a little bit. It's closed near 1600 South Provo. Some people will recognize that as Industrial Parkway, but again, northbound State Street closed in that stretch in Provo due to road maintenance. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Plan your escape to the Overlook Hotel. Enjoy crisp mountain air, breathtaking views, and peace and quiet. Maybe too quiet? Based on Stephen King's thrilling novel, The Shining, Jack Torrance's descent into madness at the Overlook Hotel comes to life on stage. Just in time for Halloween, October 11th to 19th at the Haunted Capitol Theater. Tickets start at $26 at utahopera.org/redrum.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
This week's movie show brought to you by Sound Sleep. Get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation by tuning in on Friday morning. Sound Sleep with 7 locations in Utah.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's time to harvest those apples. No, not the actual apples on trees, but the Apple devices, including the new iPhone Air, which went on sale this past weekend. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more in today's tech trends.
Apple's latest range of iPhones went on sale this weekend with a new model on offer this time around. The iPhone Air measures just 5.6 millimeters at its thinnest point. Apple project manager Julia DeLulis says they were able to do that by shifting much of the computing hardware up to the camera cutouts.
It's been completely redesigned to actually put our cameras, chips, more of our components in the plateau, and that opens up a lot more space for battery.
Battery life was a concern among iPhone fans ahead of the launch of the Air. Apple says it's good for about 22 hours of streaming video, and DeLulis says it's not all about the size of the battery.
It has A19 Pro, that's more power efficient, and then it also has our all-new C1X modem, and that's up to 30% more power efficient when you're doing the same things as, an iPhone 16 Pro, for example.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Well, it's the first day of fall, and this morning, did you feel that chill in the air?
Well, you know what? At least the weather's turned.
Oh, sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Oh, God, I was...
Finally, sweater weather. Sweater weather.
It's about time.
It's about time.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Finally,
Okay.
sweater weather.
It's sweater weather. Many people love fall, including my producer, Andy, who's been giving me grief. I am a summer girl myself. I'm just going to admit it. I love gardening. And so to me, fall just means that winter is going to be here before you know it. Devin Mashouli's in with me, and he brought you in to make fun of the way I feel about fall. Actually, I have to say, though, Devin, the last couple of falls were spectacular.
Mhm.
They were long.
Yes.
But in years past, it was like fall for 2 weeks, and then I swear it was snow before Halloween.
Yeah, I hope that, because I'm with you. I want to feel fall for as long as fall is supposed to be. It's roughly 90 days until December 1st, which is then climatological
And then it's
winter.
just fine for me if it snows, right?
Yeah, right. Then it can snow, right? We want to white Christmas and stuff, but I think in the first at least week or so, the good news is it's going to still be kind of warmer than normal. So if you're kind of holding on to summer, looks like right now our temperatures are kind of easing into fall, which is kind of nice.
I kind of wondered yesterday when I was on my way to a friend's house and there was hail on the drive, like this downpour on I-15
Yeah.
and hail coming down. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this showing what's going to come for the fall?
No, that was just a really good thunderstorm. Luckily, you don't get hail in the winter. I know people might say, oh, we get the other little ice balls, which are called grapple. We do get those, and that is a sign of the air is getting colder. But right then, that was a good thunderstorm, which is reminiscent of summertime. So maybe the weather was trying to remind you, hey, it still feels really nice out
Okay,
here.
I can handle that.
Yeah.
But I do love fall when it's fall. There is no doubt about it. There's nothing like, stomping through those crispy leaves and just the smell of those leaves.
And it's like, I just really like going through. So I'm a nerd. So I really like going through and feeling different decades of temperatures. That's why I really like spring. I like that they're transition seasons. So sometimes you can only deal with the 90s and 100-degree temperatures for so long, which we see a lot in the summertime. So I really like that in the fall. You go from, we're in the low to mid 80s now, and then we slowly fall to the upper 40s by December. So I kind of like that you can feel each different decade and go, oh, I'd like the 60s a little bit more, obviously. Or maybe I like the 50s. Yeah.
Nothing dramatic.
Right. We don't want to go right from 80 to 40 degrees tomorrow for sure. But we do have those too in the fall when we get some really strong storms. So hopefully it eases into it.
Let's remind people what the fall equinox is, because it's not pretty much what you weather folks think about as fall.
Oh, as in how
meteorological fall is a little bit different than the fall equinox,
Yes.
which we actually celebrated at 12:19 today.
Yeah, because the fall equinox is based off the position of the moon or the Earth and the sun, whereas at least meteorologists, when we want to keep data, and climatologists, we start fall on September 1st and it lasts through December 1st. So that's the difference between climatological fall and then the first day of fall, which is the fall equinox and stuff like that. So just for data keeping, makes things a lot easier when you start on the 1st and end on the 31st, whereas the first day of fall kind of changes sometimes around the 21st and the 23rd. So,
have you looked at the mountains over the weekend? I
As
mean,
in
just
the
looking
color?
at the, oh my.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of red up there already.
It's really nice. I know we were worried because of the drought that some of the color would be muted, but we're finding really good spots out there. So that's really nice that you can go up and you're not going to be disappointed, because I think we were nervous about that. And the next week or two is the best time to go up there and see the fall color, because it's really popping out there. Some of the peak places are Kive Peak, Cascade Springs, and then along the Wasatch Mountain State Park. So,
but again, don't delay.
Don't delay. No, yeah, I would definitely do it within the next week or two. I'm really glad that we did get some rain, and knowing that the temperatures over the next 10 days aren't going to dramatically change. So we're not expecting, suddenly all the leaves to fall off, the trees. So we have good temperatures, at least in looking at our outlooks for the next week or two. So that's good news for leaf peeping.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. I'm glad to hear we're going to ease into fall.
Yeah,
this
I
year.
mean, I hope, but
All right.
the
I
weather
know.
wants to do what it wants to
It
do.
has a mind of its own, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Thanks,
it
Devin.
does.
Appreciate you being with me.
No problem.
Jeff Kaplan is here. That means Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news is coming up. So are you a fan of fall?
I'm a fan of the changing seasons because I lived in Florida for a year, and you haven't lived, March, it's hot, April, now we're talking September, October. I like when it changes. Whatever it changes to is just fine.
Have a good show.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. 72 degrees in Salt Lake City. KSL's top story is developing news. Just like that, Jimmy Kimmel Live is back on ABC. The show